Chapter 341, Been plotted against. After receiving the voice transmission, Lu Mu Yen removed the array in the courtyard and flew towards the direction of the assembly hall on her sword. Sword masters who cultivated to sword sovereign could fly on their swords. The 8 Extremes sect not only occupied a large area, but there were also many undulating places interlaced between high mountains. Therefore, pupils of the sect were allowed to use swords or flying magic tools or spirit pets to fly. When she flew to the assembly hall, everyone had basically arrived, and many people looked at her with eyes of unfamiliarity and even hostility. "Yenner, come here." Ling Fei Yang grew very anxious when he saw that the gathering time drew closer and closer, and he was relieved when he saw Lu Mu Yen appear. Seeing Ling Fei Yang and the 2 others standing in a corner not far away, Lu Mu Yen immediately walked over. "Mu Yen, what have you been doing recently? We haven't seen you in the sect since we separated that time." Yen Jun asked with a smile on his face. Lu Mu Yen shrugged and said, "Well, don't I have to go advance my cultivation base? Otherwise, wouldn't it be impossible to get along around here? There should be no place where you won't be able to get along well." Yen Jun said with an angry smile. If Lu Mu Yen, this little devilish monster, couldn't even get along somewhere, then wouldn't they have long been eliminated? By the way, I don't seem to be familiar with the core pupils of the outer sect. But some people seem to be hostile to me. Do you know what's going on? Lu Mu Yen felt a few unkind gazes cast on her and there was a flash of coldness in her eyes. Naturally, Yen Jun also noticed the unkind gazes and said helplessly, "The fact that you chose a courtyard with an abundance of spiritual force was spread out by scheming people, and even said you're a relative of Elder Ao to enjoy this privilege. So many arrogant people began to dislike you. Even they were actually very helpless. Although they and the other 10 people were new pupils, but their relationship was very tense. The fact that they could become a core pupil of the outer sect as soon as they arrived, those ordinary pupils that had to work hard to advance into a core pupil, or those who were still ordinary pupils, all saw them as unpleasing to the eyes. Of course, because each Tianling continental tournament for hegemony would have pupils entering the sect, so there were actually several small factions in the outer sect. It was just that there were relatively few people in their faction, but because their abilities were pretty good, so although there would be small inconveniences here and there between them when comparing, but none of it would be brought up onto an open stage. Lu Mu Yen twitched the corner of her lips. When did Ao Rong become her relative? The imagination of these people sure were too rich. Was this news spread from the other group of people who became core pupils with us? Lu Mu Yen asked with a definitive tone. That's right. Ling Fei Yang said with a smile when he saw that she didn't care much. They've made a lot of small moves in the past 6 months. Although they were all irrelevant, but you can't completely not guard against it. Except for 2 of the 10 people who were relatively independent, the other 8 all entered various different factions. The bosses of those factions were all the top several people on the contribution points ranking, and there were a lot of pupils gathered behind them, so their power was indeed not to be underestimated. Don't worry, elder cousin brother, I always believe that fists are the biggest. Lu Mu Yen smiled carefreely. Conspiracies and tricks were all in vain in the face of absolute strength. Not to mention that as long as they dared to offend her, she would beat them up until they're scared to see who dared to provoke her again. Of course, not all the old pupils disliked the new pupils, and only a very small portion liked to play tricks and little conspiracies. The overall cultivation atmosphere of the 8 Extremes sect was still quite good. Hearing her say that, there were smiles in the eyes of Ling Fei Yang and the others. In this world, strength was respected, and it was true that whoever had the biggest fists was the boss. Not long after, Elder Wen, who led Lu Mu Yen and the others to the sect, appeared in the hall and said with a smile, "I will preside over your assignment of schools, and we will respect your choices as much as possible." Of course, because there are too many people who registered to join the smithing school and the array school, we will choose among people. Those who are not selected shouldn't be discouraged as you still have the opportunity to choose other schools. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Lu Mu Yen furrowed her brows when she heard the word registration. Do you need to register to join a school? The 3 looked at her in surprise and asked in unison, "Don't tell me you didn't know?" "I really didn't know. Lu Muyen narrowed her eyes and turned her attention to a female sword master who was currently looking at her arrogantly. This sword master was the one who was most hostile to her among the 10 people half a year ago. Now it seemed that this person wasn't just jealous, but there were even other reasons to frame her. But aren't the registrations written by the selected senior brothers who goes to ask about our personal wishes? Yan Jun furrowed his brows and asked, has anyone else looked for you besides us in the past half a year? In the past half a year, Lu Muyen basically didn't go out because she was in seclusion to advance to the core formation stage, so even when Yan Jun and the others came to visit her, they were temporarily rejected. No. Though there was someone who walked around the gate of my courtyard a few days ago, only saying they wanted to visit. I declined at that time because I had things to do, but they didn't mention any news to have me register to choose a school. Lu Muyen sneered, I think I've been plotted against by someone. Then what should we do? It's very important to choose a good school in the sect. Ling Fei Yang's eyes were filled with worry. They took on a mission together and went out to train, and they were asked about the registration when they returned yesterday. They never thought that someone would take advantage of this to plot against Lu Muyen. No worries, it doesn't matter which school it is for me. Lu Muyen waved her hand indifferently. In fact, she didn't care which school she would be assigned to. Either way, those people would definitely not dare to not register her name, and at most, they'll put her in the worst school. Yenner, the difference between the schools are huge. This is directly linked to the cultivation resources obtained. Ling Fei Yang said with a sigh. Lu Muyen smiled lightly and said, I don't care about those resources allocated. If I don't have the resources then, they'll just get contribution points to exchange for things. The three were originally worried that she would be saddened or do something impulsive because of this incident, yet who knew that she didn't even care at all. And judging from the good things she owned, she really didn't think highly of the resources that they received every month from the sect. It wasn't a bad idea to go get some contribution points to exchange for items too. By the way, which school did you all choose? Lu Muyen asked. I chose the smithing school. Ling Fei Yang replied. He was more interested in refining leather armor. Yan Jun said, also the smithing school. As a descendant of a distinguished smithing clan, his strongest talent was in smithing, and he also came to the 8 Extremes sect for their smithing school. Array school. Mo Ling, who hadn't spoken since, said. He was born in a distinguished array master's clan, and he was also obsessed with the path of the arrays, so he naturally chose his favorite profession. I wonder which school you'll be arranged to. Yan Jun said. Lu Muyen raised an eyebrow and asked, which school is the worst in the 8 Extreme sect? Talisman School. The three answered in unison. Then in all likelihood, they'll be going to the Talisman School. As if to confirm her words, as soon as she finished speaking, the first on the list of names for the Talisman School was her name. Chapter 342, Turn the Tables. When Yan Jun and the two heard Lu Muyen's name, they all smiled bitterly. She really did guess right. Although Lu Muyen was plotted against by others, but once they chose a school, it couldn't be changed. They had no foundation in the 8 Extremes sect, so even if they made a big deal, they may not get the most just results. After all, they had no evidence. Unless they went to Elder Ao Rong, who could easily resolve this matter, but they all knew Lu Muyen's temperament. She wouldn't trouble Elder Ao for such trivial matters. Put away those helpless expressions of yours. Lu Muyen rolled her eyes at them. Even she wasn't anxious. What were they worried about? If she was chosen to go to some body cultivation school, taming school or the like, then she might go find a way to change it, but the other party helped her fill in the Talisman School as if they knew her intentions, so she naturally turned a blind eye to it. You probably don't know the situation of the Talisman School, right? Mo Ling asked meaningfully. Don't know. How about you three introduce it to me? Lu Muyen said with a smile. Yan Jun sighed. The process of refining talismans is very complicated, and the rate of material consumption is much faster than that of alchemists and smiths. So if you don't have the talent, and your pockets are too shy, then choosing the Talisman School is basically seeking death. Although there are high-level talisman masters in the 8 Extremes sect, but that was hundreds of years ago. The talisman school is declining right now. Not only do they have the least resources distributed to them, but even the pupils within are mostly the least talented. Ling Fei Yang added. At each grand competition of the sect, the talisman school is always the existence at the bottom. Mo Ling added a stab with a knife meanly. Lu Mu Yen nodded. Talisman masters was a profession with relatively few people even in the immortal cultivation world where their usage was higher. But rareness was the most precious thing. The smaller the number of people in a specialization, the more popular high-level talisman masters were, and they were fragrant buns to be snatched wherever they went. On this continent, refining talismans not only required the ability to comprehend at least 2 among the metal attribute, fire attribute and earth attribute, but a sword master must also be gifted in drawing runes, and only then could one become a talisman master. Of course, a sword master with all 3 attributes would be able to walk even further on this road. Moreover, a talisman master was a very consuming occupation. From the initial search for beast blood to the middle and latter stages of searching and purchasing spiritual herbs, spars, demonic beast fur and skin and the like, it was all a huge expense. Most importantly, even after spending money like running water, one may not even become a high-level talisman master. Grade 3 talisman masters and above all required high comprehension and innovation talent, so there were very few people who could persist in refining talismans. It's perfect, I wanted to choose the talisman school to begin with. Since they helped me choose, I'll accept their kindness. Lu Mu Yen glanced at the proud female pupil lightly, then asked the several people, do you know that woman? She must be the one who plotted against me this time. Ling Fei Yang followed her line of sight and when he saw the woman, his eyes grew cold. She's Schwellinger's elder cousin sister. The two have a very good relationship. Since she deliberately played tricks on the registration list, she should have known your identity. Lu Mu Yen revealed an understanding expression. So she turned out to be Schwellinger's elder cousin sister. No wonder she was so hostile to her. In the competition space, Lu Mu Yen secretly helped Schwellinger all the way to pass obstacles, but when she was about to advance to the 100th place, she pranked her and made her 1 step behind finishing in the 100th place, which meant losing her qualifications to enter a sect. It was conceivable how unwilling and annoyed Schwellinger would have been to lose the qualification after being overtaken by the others in the end with only 1 step left. And because the fire dragon that Lu Mu Yen quietly inserted into Schwellinger's body slowly corroded her dantian, she became more and more powerless when cultivating after returning to the Xue clan. In addition, her dad brought back a very favored illegitimate daughter from outside, who was very strong in temperament and very talented, soon replacing her position as the unshakable number 1 in the Xue clan. Now Schwellinger's status in the Xue clan had completely plummeted, and she even had to be humiliated and bullied by that little sister, so it was like falling from heaven to hell. Her heart became even more distorted, and she finally utterly hated Lu Mu Yen. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. So after hearing that Lu Mu Yen chose the 8 Extremes sect, she sent news to her elder cousin sister who she used to have a good relationship with. She exaggerated the rumors about how Lu Mu Yen was so hostile to the Xue clan, and would be a great danger to the Xue clan if she continued to develop. So that's why the pupil named Schweliner was so hostile to Lu Mu Yen, and had been planning to get rid of her. Since the people of the Xue clan like to jump around so much, then I'll let her dance for a little while longer. I'll definitely repay her in the future. Lu Mu Yen was very disgusted by these kinds of small tricks, but she was also a little more vigilant. After all, many times, the important things were ruined by the unimportant people. She wouldn't belittle any enemy with evil intentions, but such a person was also not worthy of too much of her attention. They would all have to cultivate in the same sect in the future, so there would be more than enough times to repay her. She didn't like killing people with a single shot. How boring was that? It was fun to play slowly, right? There's no harm in taking more precautions against such small people in the future. Ling Fei Yang knew Lu Mu Yan's temperament, so he was still relieved. After the schools were divided up, the supervising pupils of each school gathered the people who had been divided up and brought them back. Yan Jun and the others didn't fail to be elected due to their excelling talents and abilities. They agreed with Lu Mu Yen on the next meeting time and left with the supervisor in a hurry. There were only 5 people who chose the Talisman School, and 3 were even people who were eliminated from their choices of the other schools. The pupil that led them appeared around 30 years old. He was a little stern, but he was at least polite. After explaining a little, he led them to the Talisman School. After only a few steps, Elder One walked over quickly. Elder One. The several people respectfully greeted him. Elder One saw that Lu Mu Yen was neither humble nor arrogant. He knew of the little tricks those people played, but he didn't intervene. He just wanted to see how she would handle this situation. The result didn't disappoint him. Lu Mu Yen wasn't angry nor frustrated just because she was assigned to the Talisman School. Instead, she always maintained a sense of calmness, which made him appreciate it subconsciously. This little girl's heart was indeed different from ordinary people, and only such a person could go further on the heaven-defying path of cultivation. Little Lu girl, do you want to change schools? Elder One approached Lu Mu Yen and asked in a whisper. If Lu Mu Yen wanted to go to the array school, he would be able to help, and he also guessed that she would change schools. Although his voice was soft, but the several people standing next to them all heard it. Their eyes that looked at Lu Mu Yen couldn't help but change. Lu Mu Yen rolled her eyes at Elder One. This old thing was just too bored, he was sick. Not interested. I like the Talisman School. Then she blinked her eyes innocently at Elder One and asked, Elder One, what do you mean by this? Do you look down on our Talisman School? I personally think that a Talisman Master is a promising career. The corner of Elder One's lips twitched. This girl turned the tables, truly good. And what did she mean by our Talisman School? She hadn't even stepped foot past the door of the Talisman School and she was already this defensive of it? The leading pupil's gaze that was initially slightly disliking of Lu Mu Yen instantly softened, while the other few pupils and him looked at Elder One with some more scrutiny and dissatisfaction. Elder One had to admit, Lu Mu Yen was definitely a cunning little fox. Others may not know, but he was very clear that this serious-looking supervising pupil was the direct disciple of the Talisman School's headmaster. He was a more upright person and took the Talisman School very seriously. This time, little Lu girl had probably entered his eyes. Having the supervising pupil, who was in charge of the affairs of the Talisman School, think someone to be pleasing, this Lu girl would definitely not have a hard time in the Talisman School in the future after entering. Hee, then you can stay in the Talisman School and study well. Seeing that the supervising pupil cast a look of dislike towards him, Elder One laughed dryly and left quickly. If that old fellow in the Talisman School knew that he came to dig over the student, then the wall of his school would definitely be torn down. Chapter 343, Talisman School's headmaster. The supervising pupil of the Talisman School used a flying magic tool to bring the several people to the Talisman School for a spin. My name is Ding Hao, and am the supervisor in charge of pupil affairs in the Talisman School. You can come to me first if you have anything in the future you need. Ding Hao took out a few jade slips and handed them to the several people. This is the most basic knowledge for making talismans. You can take it back and have a read for yourself. Early tomorrow morning at dawn, you will all come to the Talisman School to report and I will take you to see the headmaster. Yes, senior brother. The several people took the jade slip and put it away. You can all go back now. Yes. After Lu Mu Yen and the others left, Ding Hao sent the roster of the new pupils to the place where the headmaster resided. Headmaster, this is the list of the new core pupils of the outer sect for our Talisman School. Please take a look. Ding Hao respectfully handed over the list. A pair of fair hands took it and glanced at it, then asked in surprise, Lu Mu Yen registered for our Talisman School? Yes. Giggle, the headmaster seated at the main seat couldn't help laughing. If the old thing of the array school knew that Lu Mu Yen chose our Talisman School, he would probably vomit blood. Did Lu Mu Yen voluntarily choose our Talisman School? The headmaster continued to ask. Ding Hao replied, I don't know the details, but I vaguely sense that she may have been plotted against to enter our Talisman School. The person sitting on the main seat's brows furrowed and murmured, "Wasn't voluntary? She should be voluntary." Ding Hao paused and said, "When we were about to leave, Elder Wen once came to ask Lu Mu Yan if she wanted to be transferred to another school. Judging from his appearance, as long as Lu Mu Yan agreed, she would definitely be able to transfer to the array school." "Then how did she answer?" Ding Hao repeated the conversation between Lu Mu Yan and Elder Wen, then added, "I noticed that Lu Mu Yan's eyes were clear and clean without any reluctance. It seems that there is still someone with foresight in this group of pupils." The headmaster tapped a finger on the table. "Bring them to see me tomorrow." However, Elder Wen was noted down. That old thing dared to come dig their students. His skin was truly itching. "Yes, master." At the array school, the supervising pupil also handed over the roster. The headmaster of the array school swept it casually, and smiled with satisfaction when seeing Yan Jun's name, but the smile froze after a while. "Why isn't Lu Mu Yan's name on this list?" The supervising pupil was surprised inwardly, then replied respectfully, replying to headmaster, "Lu Mu Yan chose the talisman school." Because of Xue Linger's intentional dissemination, the impression of Lu Mu Yan among the old pupils was a woman with a privileged relationship. Even if some people didn't care about it, but they didn't have much like for her. After the Tianling Continental Tournament for Hegemony was over, the information of the new pupils was only known to the superiors of the sect. Many pupils didn't know that Lu Mu Yan was first place in the competition and was someone that Elder Ao Rong had to defeat several other sects to dig over. That's why they were misled by Xue Laner. "What? Chose the talisman school?" The headmaster of the array school slammed the table heavily. "Why did she choose the talisman school?" "This pupil doesn't know." The supervisor replied cautiously. This was the first time he saw the headmaster get so angry like this. Could it be that the woman named Lu Mu Yan wasn't as bad as the rumors said? Otherwise, the headmaster wouldn't be so angry because she didn't choose his school. After a while, the headmaster of the array school sighed. "Forget it, since she chose the talisman school, then let her be." But he pitied that such a good grade 3 array master was missed in vain, and a surge of anger rose in his heart. "Go and find out why she chose the talisman school. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site." "Thanks, yes." Most importantly, he didn't want to provoke that headmaster of the talisman school. If he was discovered that he went to dig their corner, then that person would definitely demolish his array school. At this time, his thoughts of wanting Lu Mu Yan also slowly faded, but he would definitely regret this matter in the future. In the alchemy school, the supervising pupil also presented the list. The headmaster of the alchemy school swept it over and asked, "Which school did Lu Mu Yan go to?" The supervising pupil didn't expect the headmaster to ask such a question. After thinking about the lists read out before, he replied, "Lu Mu Yan chose the talisman school." When the headmaster of the alchemy school heard Lu Mu Yan's choice of school, there was a look of not knowing whether to laugh or cry on his face, but there was also slight gloating. That old thing from the array school was probably on fire. But he did feel a little pity. Otherwise, with Lu Mu Yan's dual fire and would attribute at great achievement realm talent, she was most suitable to be an alchemist. If it were that she chose a different school, he would still be able to fight for her a bit, but as it was the talisman school, he could only take a step back. That person was the master of being the most difficult to handle. Such a scene occurred in many schools, and even the sect leader and Ao Rong was surprised after hearing Lu Mu Yan's choice. In their hearts, they also thought that Lu Mu Yan would choose the array school. Lu Mu Yan greeted the other people, then left the talisman school and returned to her residence. When she flew on her sword, she discovered that many people looked at her with unfriendly gazes. When she remembered Xue Laner's situation, an arc of ridicule rose on her lips. At this time, she wouldn't go clarify anything. An explanation that came from her mouth would be more likely to be thought of as a cover-up, and she didn't need those people to like her. People who were innocent would naturally be proven innocent. Reasonable people and people worthy of deep friendship wouldn't belittle her simply because of some rumors. The rumors stopped at the wise, and she could also use this incident to see who in the sect she could befriend. But she also wouldn't let Xue Laner continue to arrogantly slander her. As long as she found the right opportunity, she would reveal her strength, and the rumors would naturally fall apart. In a world where strength was respected, fists had the right to speak, and with strength, one could win others' respect and awe. The strength she revealed that didn't match the rumors would be the biggest counterattack against those who spread the rumors. If she made good use of it a little, then justice would stand on her side and Xue Laner would eat her own rotten fruit she raised. Her eyes were stained with a slight cunning smile. When that time came, she had just watched how Xue Laner bore the anger of the headmasters of the several schools. The next morning, when she skies slowly brightening, Lu Mu Yen and the others were taken to a quiet courtyard by Ding Hao. In the courtyard, there was a woman with an enchanting figure who was dancing with her sword by a lotus pond, her figure refreshing, handsome and valiant. The several people didn't bother her either. The woman slowly walked towards them after withdrawing her sword. Disciple pays respects to master. Ding Hao bowed to the person who came, then turned to Lu Mu Yen and the others and said, "This is the headmaster of our talisman school." Pupil pays respect to headmaster. The several people hurriedly greeted. No need. The woman went straight to a chair and sat down as she said lightly, "All raise your heads and talk to me." Lu Mu Yen looked up and saw the person opposite clearly. With a face in her 20s, she was dressed in a flamboyant red dress that wrapped around her exquisite figure. She was gorgeous and beautiful, and could even be considered peerlessly stunning. The combination of her facial features and temperament gave one a sense of heroism and ease. Although she restrained her cultivation base, but Lu Mu Yen could conclude that she was a sword saint powerhouse. The several people never thought that the headmaster of the talisman school would be such a charming and stunning beauty. "My name is Hualing Long, and am the headmaster of your talisman school. I implement a policy of doing as you please here, and won't interfere with you too much. If you want to learn alchemy, arrays, you can. Of course, you also must learn talismans well for me." Seeing two of them sigh with relief, her beautiful eyes revealed a sharpness. "I don't like pupils who cheat and play tricks. If you want to bear the attitude of just getting by, then Laonyang wants you to leave now." Pupil dares not. Very good. Ding Hao will tell you the rules and regulations of the talisman school one by one. Lu Mu Yen and Zi Che Shi will remain, the others can leave first. Chapter 344, The Headmaster's Pleasant Surprise. The other three looked disappointed when they heard the headmaster's words, but they were different from Lu Mu Yen and Zi Che Shi. They chose other schools and were eliminated to the talisman school, so they didn't have the confidence to fight. Ding Hao knew that the headmaster wanted to talk to the two of them, so he saluted and left the courtyard with the other three. Hualing Long took a cup of tea and took a sip. With a smile on her bright face, she pointed to the lotus pond opposite and asked, "Know what that variety is?" Zi Che Shi followed her pointed finger and saw a layer of cold air over the lotus pond. The lotus flowers in the pond were all icy blue and the ice lotuses also had bright red dewdrops on them. Pupil doesn't know. He was interested in smithing and talismans, but he didn't know anything about spiritual herbs and alchemy. "Do you know, little girl?" The smile on Hualing Long's face remained and her gaze shifted to Lu Mu Yen. Lu Mu Yen smiled lightly and said, "This is an ice frost fire lotus. It can only bloom once in a century. The red dewdrops on the petals are the essence of this lotus, which is very useful for sword masters who cultivate the fire attribute." Since she arrived at the talisman school, then she didn't prepare to hide herself. This beauty headmaster gave her a very good impression. Indeed. Little girl sure is well informed. Hualing Long's eyes revealed some admiration, guessing that the elders of the alchemy school must also be feeling pity at this time. However, since this treasure landed in her hands by mistake, she naturally couldn't have someone poach it away. "Zi Che Shi, can you comprehend the earth attribute elemental energy already?" Hualing Long asked. Zi Che Shi replied respectfully, "This pupil has already comprehended 3 types of elemental energy." "Very good. It's not in vain for that growth soil that I gave you." The smile on Hualing Long's face was even greater. It had been a long time since there had been a 3-type talisman master. Lu Mu Yan had noticed Zi Che-shi yesterday and discovered that he wasn't one of the 10 ordinary pupils who were promoted to core pupils. He probably entered core pupil through other means. Although the aura exuding from him was only a middle-phase sword sovereign, but he was a 3-type sword master, and his future was immeasurable. Then little girl? Huo Linglong asked with a smile, I heard that your fire and wood dual attributes are at great achievement, and your metal attribute comprehension has also reached the understanding realm. Is this true? Indeed. Lu Mu Yan nodded. Can you comprehend the earth elemental energy attribute then? Huo Linglong only just blurted out the words at will, then after asking, she lowered her head and chuckled, feeling that it was too much. Lu Mu Yan was silent for a moment, then said, I can. What? Huo Linglong raised her head fiercely to look at Lu Mu Yan with a bit of joy and sternness in her beautiful eyes. Do you know the consequences of deceiving me? Hearing Lu Mu Yan's words, even Zi Che-shi, who had always been calm and composed, revealed a look of disbelief. Lu Mu Yan didn't explain either. With a flip of her hand, she attacked with a palm wind towards a large stone in the distance. As soon as the palm wind from her palm landed, earth thorns condensed in the air, instantly stabbing the large stone into a hornet's nest. You can actually perceive the earth elemental attribute. Although you haven't reached the understanding realm, but this talent is too heaven-defying. Even Huo Linglong had to sigh at the grace of the heavens towards Lu Mu Yan. As long as 4 attribute sword masters don't go down the wrong path, any one of them who leapt out was a strong powerhouse who could shake a portion of this land. I'm very interested in refining talismans, and I also want to stay in the talisman school, so I didn't want to hide it from headmaster. Lu Mu Yan's eyes were clear, and her tone was sincere. Huo Linglong suppressed the excitement in her heart. She sure didn't expect that although the pupils of the array school plotted against Lu Mu Yan, but it brought such a big surprise for their talisman school. Good. Your choice is definitely correct. However, the matter of you being able to perceive 4 attribute elemental energy needs to be kept secret for the time being. After you explode in the future, well, blind those old things. The interest in Huo Linglong's eyes grew even denser. She was even looking forward to seeing the expressions of those old things change. The corners of Zi Che-shi's lips twitched. Originally, the headmaster of the talisman school was already one that didn't play her cards using logic, and now there's another Lu Mu Yan who he heard cause trouble very easily. The talisman school definitely wouldn't be so deserted in the future anymore. A meaningful smile gradually rose on his lips. It seemed that he didn't select incorrectly this time. The days in the future wouldn't be boring anymore. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Lu Mu Yan narrowed her eyes, and her pupils were filled with cunning, then said cooperatively with Huo Linglong, when the time comes, well, let them know how powerful our talisman school is. Huo Linglong liked Lu Mu Yan even more when she heard the word we. Did you know that each school is actually divided into 2 parts? Huo Linglong asked. Zi Che-shi replied, this pupil knows. After all, he had stayed in the 8 Extremes sect for more than a decade, so he was still relatively familiar with the sect. This pupil doesn't. Lu Mu Yan blinked and said. In the past half a year, she basically didn't go out to inquire about any news due to advancing to the core formation stage, so she was really unfamiliar with the 8 Extremes sect except for the things introduced on the Jade Slip. Then I'll tell you. Huo Linglong took a sip of tea and continued, each school is divided into an ordinary school and an elite school. The elite schools are actually all inner pupils. Each of us headmasters are in charge of both schools. There are already many grade 2 talisman masters in the elite school, and there are even 2 grade 3 talisman masters. The resources they enjoy are vastly different from yours, so you must both not only study hard, but also set the goal of gaining entry into the elite school. Then Huo Linglong looked at the 2 of them earnestly and said, I hope to see you 2 reporting to the elite school in 2 years' time. Pupil will work hard. The talisman school will have talisman masters come to lecture every 10 days. If you don't understand anything, you can ask them questions or come to me. Huo Linglong paused, then said, the same is true for other schools, and the elders will also teach at different times. If you are interested in other professions, you can also go listen to them. Pupil understands. Then you can both go and get acquainted with our talisman school first. I dare not say anything else, but the pupils of our talisman school are definitely the most united in the entire sect. Yes. Pupil will retire. Lu Mu Yen saluted Huoling Long, then turned to leave. Huoling Long, as if remembering something, suddenly shouted, "Little girl, I heard that you made a kind of pill called the beauty-enhancing pill?" Indeed. Lu Mu Yen turned around and took out 2 bottles of pills from her sleeve and handed them to Huoling Long with a smile. "Headmaster is so peerlessly beautiful, in fact, even if you don't take the beauty-enhancing pill, you would still be beautiful and moving. But the beauty-enhancing pill also has the effects of solidifying one's foundation and nourishing one's elements for women's one body type. If Headmaster takes it long-term, not only will you become more bright and beautiful, but it will also help with practicing methods. Let these 2 bottles of pills be considered a meeting gift from pupil." Huoling Long raised the ice frost fire lotus to cultivate, and her body was obviously leaning towards the yin. If she took the beauty-enhancing pill, there would indeed be miraculous effects. Giggle, little girl sure has a sweet mouth. I really like you more and more. Huoling Long took the pills and put it away, then reached out and gently pinched Lu Mu Yan's tender and smooth face. Lu Mu Yan quickly avoided her devil's hand. This headmaster sure was too unpretentious, but she liked this character of hers. I won't let you suffer any losses either. This thing is useful to you, accept it. Huoling Long took out a wooden box and stuffed it to Lu Mu Yan, her eyes growing fonder of her. Lu Mu Yan also knew that the things the headmaster gifted wouldn't be bad, so she accepted it with a cheeky smile. Thank you, headmaster. Then Huoling Long smiled and looked at Zi Che-Shi, saying openly, your meeting gift was already given last time, so this time it'll be waived. Pupil knows. Zi Che-Shi looked at the 2 with amusement. Alright, you can both retire now. Huoling Long waved her hand towards them, then took the pills and ran back to her room to research. 1 Yin and Yang, very popular terms. Yin, the black half, is usually used to represent females, and Yang, the white half, males. Yin is also often considered cold and Yang, warm, like moon and sun. Thanks for all the comments, guys. I read every single one of them, and hopefully I don't forget to like them XD. I just might not reply to them all. 2 updates will continue for a while as I have many saved chapters. Today only 1 because I left my USB at school and didn't retrieve it until now and not bothered uploading 2 anymore today, hahaha. Just an FYI, the number of chapters 1 upload is sometimes based on my mood and how organized I am, but there'll always be at least 1 chapter every day, and it will be scheduled at 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time / Australian Eastern Daylight Time, as long as I'm organized, lol. Extra chapters may be uploaded at 6 am Australian Eastern Standard Time / Australian Eastern Daylight Time as well, and if there are the rare 3 chapters, 1 will also be uploaded at 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time / Australian Eastern Standard Time. Who knows, maybe I'll upload 4 chapters a day one day on a whim, haha. Anyways, enjoy. Chapter 345. Rank 3 Most Difficult Mission. Lu Mu Yan and Zi Che-Shi left the yard together and went to find Ding Hao. On the way, Zi Che-Shi said first, it seems that the rumors aren't credible. Junior sister Lu being able to choose an individual courtyard must be because of your own strength. Hearing is false, seeing is believing. Senior brother didn't show any unkindness to me before, so you must also probably didn't fully believe the rumors. Lu Mu Yan replied with a light smile. She would live in the talisman school for a long time in the future, so she naturally should have a good relationship with this senior brother. The atmosphere of the 8 Extremes sect is relatively righteous, so things like you being a relative of Elder AO to enjoy privileges, as long as one is capable of discerning, they wouldn't believe it. From the first time Zi Che-Shi met Lu Mu Yan, he discovered that the sect leader and the several elders all had an unusual attitude towards her. Only those who were blinded by jealousy would believe the rumors of so-called relatives. After chatting idly for a bit, the 2 met Ding Hao, who was introducing the other 3 people to the talisman school, and they also joined in. Ding Hao then took them to meet many old pupils in the talisman school. The pupils of the talisman school were relatively free, and they could usually move around wherever. They also had a very good relationship with each other, and the attitude of the old pupils when meeting the 5 could also be considered quite enthusiastic. When Lu Mu Yen returned to her courtyard, she discovered that there were not only not many resources available on her to use, but because she also gave all her spiritual stones to Lu Mu Ting, she was right now a very poor person. It took a lot of resources for her spirit pets to advance, so she could only take out the contribution points jade slip given by Ao Rome to take a look. The above specifically introduced the rules for how to obtain and use contribution points in the 8 Extreme sect, and also listed the things that could be exchanged in the resource pool in the most recent 3 years. Lu Mu Yen swept it again and found that she and her few spirit pets could use a lot of the things in the resource pool, but the contribution points required added up to an astronomical figure. She could only take 1 step at a time. "Owner, are we going to take on missions to earn contribution points now?" Bing Ji was gearing up. When he was with Lu Mu Yen, he was already used to turning into a 7-colored parrot. Lu Mu Yen rolled her eyes at him. "In the sect, give it a rest for me. Let's talk about missions tomorrow after listening to the lectures of the elders who teach in the talisman school tomorrow." The next day, Lu Mu Yen went to the talisman school to listen to the grade 4 talisman master elders lecture. Although she knew most of the things, but there were also things worth learning. Another 2 days passed. Lu Mu Yen flew on her sword and arrived at the sect's mission registration management office. As soon as she arrived at the entrance of the main hall, she saw many people coming in and out, very lively, and most of them were unfamiliar faces. A few also had very strong auras. Lu Mu Yen stepped into the main hall and headed straight to the innermost registration office. There were 3 supervisors on duty at the registration office at this time. In front of the 3 were long queues, either pupils who were handing in their missions or pupils who were accepting missions. Lu Mu Yen randomly chose a long line to walk over and waited in line like everyone else. During the period, she also heard many discussions. The mission distribution of this sect was divided into 9 ranks. The higher the rank, the higher the difficulty and of course, the more contribution points. Lu Mu Yen listened to the surrounding discussions and found that most of the outer pupils in the sect chose tasks below rank 4, while the inner pupils chose missions below rank 7. As for the missions above rank 7, one generally needed to form a party to complete, and the higher the difficulty factor, there may not even be a single person accepting it for many years. In the mission area, 2 walls refined of spars were specially built. On one side, there was a list of the top 100 contribution points rankings of the inner sect, and on the other, there was a ranking list of the outer sect's top 100 contribution points. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks of course, the contribution points list would also change constantly with the contribution points of pupils. However, it was said that regardless of whether it was the top 10 of the outer sect or inner sect's top 10, the people on the contribution points list would generally not change, only their rankings would change, and the magnitude wasn't big. It was almost an hour's wait before it was her turn. As soon as she walked in, she handed her identity token to the assistant in charge of registration. After the supervisor checked the identity token per guidelines, he handed her a jade slip and said, "The missions are all on it. You can choose it yourself. You can only choose one at a time, and you can continue to accept a second one after completion." All right. Lu Mu Yen used her mental energy to check the missions and found that most of the missions below rank 3 could be completed with the strength of a sword monarch, so she jumped right away and looked at rank 3 missions. In fact, even rank 3 missions weren't that difficult for her, but for the first time taking on a mission, she still followed the principle of being low profile, so she chose the most difficult one among the rank 3 missions. "I choose the mission of catching leopard lion beasts alive," Lu Mu Yen said. The supervisor looked up at her in surprise, thought for a bit, then reminded, "This is the most difficult task in rank 3. It's your first time completing a mission, you can do something simple first." "Thank you for the reminder, but I'll choose this one," Lu Mu Yen said with a smile. After completing this mission, there was only 100 contribution points. For what she wanted to exchange, the contribution points were still far too few. If it wasn't because it was her first time doing a mission to try out, she would definitely choose a mission with high contribution points and difficulty. Only by doing difficult missions could one improve their strength while also gaining contribution points. Then it's up to you. The maximum duration of this task is half a year. If you don't come to hand in the task after half a year, it'll be regarded as automatic abstention. The supervisor had already reminded her, but since the other party still insisted, then he wouldn't say anything more. Alright, then I'll trouble you. Lu Mu Yen didn't go back to her residence after receiving the mission, but instead flew directly to an unmanned area in the 8 Extremes sect to complete the task. When the 8 Extremes sect built the sect, it included several dangerous areas with abundant resources and many demonic beasts. First, it used the method of issuing missions to train pupils of the sect and their growth, and second, it also provided a steady stream of resources for the sect. When Lu Mu Yen left, she was seen by a female pupil who had a good relationship with Schwelaner. After she handed in a rank 3 ordinary mission, she ran to tell Schwelaner. She actually went to accept the most difficult task in rank 3? Schwelaner asked in surprise. I watched her accept it with my own eyes. The supervisor even reminded her, but she still insisted on taking the task. The woman replied. Schwelaner smiled disdainfully. The leopard lion beast is as fast as lightning, and is also a social beast. It's difficult even for a sword sovereign powerhouse to catch 100 of them alive, let alone a pupil who had only just been promoted into sword sovereign. She truly can't weigh herself. Yeah. Even if she has Elder Ao's support, she shouldn't be this arrogant. The woman concurred. Go and release this news. Schwelaner said with a grim smile, you should know what to do, right? I understand. The woman usually clung to Schwelaner and dared not refuse her orders. Besides, she also hated Lu Mu Yen, who could enjoy an individual courtyard. The news that the new pupil Lu Mu Yen was overconfident and accepted the hardest rank 3 mission for her first mission, despite the supervisor's warning, spread within only 2 hours. Many people were influenced by Schwelaner's deliberate spreading of rumors before and disliked Lu Mu Yen. Now that they heard that she was so arrogant, they hated her even more, and waited for her to be unable to complete the mission and be embarrassed. This matter spread to the ears of the headmasters of the various schools, and they all came to pay attention to this matter. After all, although the leopard lion beast's mission was only rank 3, but it was very difficult to complete. So far, no one had managed to catch more than 50 of them alive. Lu Mu Yen didn't know what Schwelaner did. She was currently on her way to the mountain where the leopard lion beasts lived. Of course, if she knew about Schwelaner's plan, she might even applaud her, shouting good. Consecutively slapping faces was her favorite thing to do. Chapter 346, Repeatedly Accept, Repeatedly Hand in. When Lu Mu Yen arrived at a swamp, she found that there were some black dots constantly jumping around in the swamp. Judging from their auras, they were all demonic beasts of tier 5 or 6. She had never seen a leopard lion beast before, and the reason why she knew its living habits was actually because it was recorded in the secret classic that Yi Qing Han gave her. Mo Yen, do you know the fastest way to catch leopard lion beasts? Lu Mu Yen asked Mo Yen as she poked him. Mo Yen glanced at her and said, the leopard lion beast is a demonic beast with the thunder attribute. Its speed is as fast as lightning, and is even faster than your flash steps. It's very difficult to catch it. How about you let out a roar with the pressure of a royal? Lu Mu Yen suggested with a smile. With a sound of pressure coercing these beasts, the leopard lion beasts would be trembling, which would naturally affect their speed and movement of escape. Humph, don't try to take shortcuts. The speed of the leopard lion beast is very fast, which is perfect for you to improve your flexibility and speed. Mo Yen snorted, appearing like a tsundere. What did this woman think he was? A beast tamer? Lu Mu Yen pouted, thought a bit, then said, since we want to improve, then let's all improve together. She pointed to Bing Ji and the other spirit pets and said, you all go out to catch 100 of them back. This rank 3 mission was cyclical, which meant it could be completed again and again. She couldn't be the only one tiring herself out, could she? Bing Ji, Shui Shui, and Miao Miao were all excited, jumped off from Lu Mu Yen and ran right to the swamp. Lu Mu Yen grabbed Mo Yen from her shoulder with a mischievous smile and tossed him right down. Mo Yan's eyes contained a helpless and indulgent smile. He rolled over in midair and disappeared from sight. Lu Mu Yen tapped her toes and flew into the swamp as well. 3 days later, one person and a few beasts sat wearily resting on the edge of the swamp. Owner, these leopard lion beasts are so difficult to catch. How about we do another mission? Bing Ji glared at the little black spots in the swamp and said. At first, they thought the leopard lion beasts were easy to catch, but who knew that those little things were not only extremely fast, but also cunning like foxes. After 3 days of attempting to catch them, except for the few that Mo Yen and Lu Mu Yen caught, the other 3 spirit pets didn't even have any gains. If you encounter difficulties and give up, then how can you continue to cultivate on the path in the future? Lu Mu Yen glanced at him. You've really lost all the faces of divine beasts. If it weren't because of this stinky bird's excelling talent, it would probably be difficult for him to even transform with his laziness. That's right. As if he'll believe that we can't catch any of them when Boss Missouri can. Meow Meow's tender voice was telepathically transmitted. Although Shui Shui also hated entering the swamp as it would greatly restrict his movements, but he found that although he hadn't caught a single leopard lion beast after 3 days, his vine's flexibility and speed had improved. Lu Mu Yen was the kind of person who wanted to challenge the more difficult something was, and her flash steps had also improved a lot in 3 days. Let's go, let's also go work too. Lu Mu Yen got up and looked at the white shadow constantly dashing in the swamp. Mo Yen was still catching the leopard lion beasts. And as such, the days went by. Lu Mu Yen and her few demonic beasts went from the initial weariness and tough work in being unable to catch many leopard lion beasts, to becoming more and more at ease, and found their own tricks. A month later, when Bing Ji returned with the last leopard lion beast in his mouth, their missions were also completed. 500 leopard lion beasts can be exchanged for 500 contribution points. This time, the harvest's not that bad. Lu Mu Yen put all the leopard lion beasts caught in a spirit beast ring. Bing Ji soothed his feathers and said gaudily, Owner, catching leopard lion beasts is much easier for us now. Why don't we catch 1,000 and return to hand in? Lu Mu Yen and the other spirit pets looked at him speechlessly with a you're an idiot gaze and didn't reply. She turned around and flew in the direction of the sect. Bing Ji pursed his lips aggrievedly and asked Shui Shui, Shui, aren't I right? Shui Shui rolled his eyes at him and said, Idiot, we've been catching them for so long, haven't you counted how many leopard lion beasts there are in the swamp? Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, there are only 1,000 at most, and many leopard lion beasts are already restraining their aura and hiding in the depths of the swamp because we're trying to catch them. It's a waste of our time for us to go catch them. Cough cough, Bing J's old face flushed red. At the time, I was so excited catching them I forgot about the problem of quantity. But we can catch them in a different place. Aren't there still several swamps like this on this big mountain? Then he added. Lu Mu Yen replied, We accept missions not just for the contribution points, but also to improve our strength. After a month, our movements, flexibility, and speed have all improved, so there's no more meaning in continuing to catch them. As expected, little owner is smart. Bing Ji said with a flattering smile. The other spirit pets all rolled their eyes and scolded, sycophant. As soon as Lu Mu Yen returned to the sect's mission registration office, many people were paying attention. This time, there was still a long queue, and she chose the same supervisor's queue as last time to line up at. When it was her turn, that supervisor was visibly startled, obviously not expecting to meet her again so soon. Are you handing in the task or giving up the mission and accepting another one? In the past, many pupils, including inner pupils, had accepted this rank 3 mission, but had not completed it, so the supervisor thought it was the latter. I'm here to hand in the task. Lu Muyen asked with a smile. Supervisor, may I ask whether this mission can be repeatedly accepted, repeatedly handed in? The supervisor was stunned for a moment. It's true you can make repeated exchanges. These are my mission items. Please check it. Lu Muyen handed a spirit beast ring to the supervisor. The supervisor took the spirit beast ring to check with some doubt, then his eyes were filled with shock. You actually caught 100 tier 6 leopard lion beasts. In the mission description, the level of leopard lion beasts to be caught was set to tier 5 or 6. Most of the people who failed to catch leopard lion beasts before mostly caught tier 5, and if they could catch 20 or 30 within half a year, it would already be considered amazing. But this young female pupil not only caught 100 tier 6 ones, but also only took 1 month, which shocked the supervisor. My mission should be considered completed, right? Lu Muyen asked with a smile. The supervisor nodded hastily. It's complete. The supervisor took Lu Muyen's identity token and put 100 contribution points into it. Are you still going to accept a mission? I'm still going to accept this mission, and I'll accept it 4 times and turn it in 4 times. Lu Muyen said with a smile. What? Accept 4 times and hand in 4 times? The supervisor swallowed and asked, You didn't catch 400 more leopard lion beasts, did you? Lu Muyen blinked and said, Yeah. I still have 400. Can you let me take a look first? The supervisor asked. Lu Muyen took out another spirit beast ring and handed it to him. All 400 are inside. The supervisor took it and looked at it carefully. He was unable to express his feelings in words any longer. Where did this little girl come from? She was actually such an abnormal monster. He quickly made records for Lu Muyen 4 more times, then assigned 400 contribution points to her identity token. And the conversations and actions of Lu Muyen and the supervisor fell into the eyes of all the pupils in the hall, and the people instantly burst into an uproar. Chapter 347, Mission Maniac. There were whispers in the hall discussing Lu Muyen handing in the leopard lion beast mission. The supervisor thought of the importance that elder of the inner sect placed on the leopard lion beast, and a kind smile showed on his serious face and continued to ask, Do you still want to accept this mission? Lu Muyen shook her head. No. I want to accept the mission of killing the flying prune beast. Killing 10 flying prune beasts is a rank 4 medium level mission. And the flying prune beasts aren't only fast-flying type demonic beasts, but also very ferocious. Are you sure you want to accept it? The supervisor felt that his brain wasn't going to be enough to use anymore. I'm certain. Lu Muyen nodded. Aren't you going to think about continuing to take on a few more leopard lion beast missions? It's a good deal for you to earn 500 contribution points a month. The supervisor thought for a bit, then urged. No need. After completing the rank 4 medium level mission once, you'll have 500 contribution points. I might not even need 1 month, so I don't want to waste time on a rank 3 mission. Lu Muyen shrugged. The corner of the supervisor's lips twitched. What did she mean by a waste of time? Why did a rank 4 mission sound like it was as easy as buying cabbages when she said it? One must know that very few people in the outer sect would independently accept a rank 4 medium level mission. They were mostly accepted by inner sect pupils. Where did this little monster from the outer sect come from? All right. Since you want to accept it, you can give it a try. Seeing that the persuasion was useless, the supervisor registered for her, but ultimately couldn't help but remind her, but the mission and contribution points isn't important, your life is. Pay attention to your safety, the duration of this task is still half a year. Thank you, supervisor. Lu Muyen took the identity tablet and didn't care about the gazes that were cast on her either, flying directly on her sword towards the mission location. As soon as she left, the supervisor said a few words to the 2 people beside him, then hurriedly left to report this matter. The pupils in the hall also exploded. That pupil named Lu Muyen actually completed the mission of catching the leopard lion beasts alive. Amazing. A woman's face was filled with admiration. Yeah. 500 leopard lion beasts in a month, her speed and ability are so awesome. A young man said with sparkling eyes. Maybe she asked someone for help or used some tricks. The pupil before who was dependent on Shui laners saw Lu Muyan's return and was originally here to watch a good joke, but who knew that the situation would be reversed like this, so she bit her lip, saying. The person beside her replied, "Ask someone to help? No one in the sect has completed this task, it should be impossible." Maybe she asked Elder Ao Rong for help. The woman continued to slander Lu Muyan's reputation, unreconciled. A pupil who just happened to come accept a task from the inner sect said with a disdainful smile, "Elder Ao Rong was sent out by the sect leader to do some business a month ago, and there were several other elders who went with him. They haven't even returned to the sect yet. How can he help Lu Muyan? Find a more reliable excuse if you want to ruin someone's reputation." He hated people who ruined other people's reputation because of jealousy the most in his life. He had suffered a lot because of this once, so he couldn't help but sneer. Hearing his words, others all thought that it made sense. Someone who was disagreeable with Xia Laner's faction said, and the mission she accepted just now was a rank 4 medium-level mission. If she didn't have the strength, would she go seek death herself? You can eat random food, but you shouldn't say random things. By the way, it was her and several others who slandered Lu Muyan's reputation before. The thing about Elder Ao Rong and Lu Muyan being relatives was also spread from them. A person who had a grudge against this woman stood up and said, they must be jealous of Lu Muyan, so they intentionally slandered her. How despicable. Those who could enter the sect and advance to become core pupils or inner pupils were naturally not stupid. Many people had also guessed that the previous rumors were probably all false. Maybe she just used some lucky methods to catch the leopard lion beasts. If we want to see whether she really has the abilities or not, then we'll know once she returns to hand in the next mission. Someone interjected. Everyone started chatting in the hall, but because of this situation, many people had changed their opinion of Lu Muyan. Of course, there were still those who were jealous of her and concluded that she found someone to help her. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, this matter also spread quickly, and the headmasters of several schools were shocked. They then immediately paid more attention to Lu Muyan. In this way, another 10 days passed. After Lu Muyan returned again, she first went to the talisman school to listen to the lecture of an elder before going to the mission registration office to hand in the mission, then accepted another rank 4 mission. She could only take the previous rank 4 flying plume beast mission once, so the corpses of the remaining 40 flying plume beasts in her interspatial ring weren't taken out. And the news of her return was still widely spread. This time, more people believed that the reason she could choose a separate courtyard to live in was because it was a privilege she obtained through her strength. After all, the grade 4 missions were all completed by inner pupils. Among the outer core pupils, only the pupils who had also obtained individual courtyards and were the top 10 in rankings on contribution points could complete them. Time passed, and half a year passed like this. During this period, Lu Muyan kept accepting missions. Except for the talisman lectures every 10 days, she basically spent her time completing missions outside. Moreover, she already accepted rank 5 and 6 missions, and the time she took handing in these missions was surprisingly fast. According to someone's statistic, she accepted a total of 20 missions in half a year, and the most important factor was that she had never failed. In addition to maniacally accepting missions, her contribution points also advanced into the 90th place in rankings. Because of her strength and her speed in completing tasks, plus the fact that she had never failed, the pupils of the 8 Extremes sect all secretly nicknamed her Mission Maniac. On this day, she finished a rank 6 mission and went to the mission registration office to hand it in. The pupils who were queuing all revealed interest when they saw her come in. Many people were whispering amongst themselves. The Mission Maniac is here. I wonder which mission shall challenge this time. Someone said excitedly. A pupil who had never met Lu Muyan said, she's the legendary Mission Maniac? How beautiful. Not only is she beautiful, but she's also very strong. In half a year, she actually completed 12 rank 6 missions, and she's considered rather famous in the outer sect. How abnormally monstrous. Even Lu Yan, who's first in our outer sect, has never had this record, right? Nope. Lu Yan and the others will take a break after finishing a mission, but she basically never stopped. The discussion here was hot, while Lu Mu Yan ignored those fiery eyes and calmly walked to the familiar supervisor. This is the mission item this time. The supervisor took over the mission item with a smile and checked it, then swiped the points to her identity token and asked, "What do you want to accept this time?" Hearing the supervisor's question, the surrounding pupils who were whispering quieted down and turned their attention to the two of them. "Won't accept anymore. I'll think about it when I have something I want to exchange first." Lu Mu Yan shrugged and smiled lightly. She used the contribution points and exchanged a lot of resources already. High-level ones required too many contribution points, but she didn't want to do missions for the time being. Compared to resources, what she lacked most right now was still spiritual stones. "By the way, supervisor, do you know where you can earn spiritual stones in the sect?" Lu Mu Yan blinked and said, "The type where you can earn a lot of spiritual stones." Chapter 348, The Prodigal Scarlet Bee. Empress. Hearing Lu Mu Yan say that she wouldn't accept missions anymore, the supervisor was stunned. Just as he was about to speak, he heard her question, and the corner of his lips couldn't help but twitch. What did she mean by one where you could earn a lot of spiritual stones? If there was such a mission or work, he'd also like to do it. There are currently no missions or jobs that directly pay spiritual stones in the sect. Lu Mu Yan furrowed her brows slightly, then asked after a change of mind, "Then is there any trading place in the sect? One where you can trade with spiritual stones?" The mission maniac didn't become stupid after doing all those missions right. This was what the people present thought. In fact, one couldn't blame Lu Mu Yan for not knowing. After all, ever since she first arrived at the sect, she was either in seclusion to advance to the core formation stage, or she was continuously doing missions outside, so she wasn't really familiar with the sect. Cough cough, the supervisor coughed dryly and said with a smile, "There is a commercial street in the sect where you can trade with spiritual stones, and many pupils will go there to set up stalls. If you don't need some things, you can try selling them on that commercial street." This little monster had done so many missions, so she probably had a lot of nice things on her. At least, there would be no shortage of corpses of high-level demonic beasts. "I see. Then thank you, supervisor. I'll check it out in a couple of days." Lu Mu Yan smiled. "No need. If you're ready to accept missions, remember to come to me." The supervisor's attitude was very kind. Since the appearance of Lu Mu Yan, many long-standing missions had been resolved, and he had also been rewarded with a lot of contribution points in the past half a year because of it. Now that Lu Mu Yan wasn't doing mission for the time being, it would be a lie if he said he wasn't disappointed inwardly. "No problem, I'll go back first." Lu Mu Yan greeted the supervisor, then left the mission hall. She didn't go to the commercial street immediately, but went back to her residence and slept well for 2 days. She didn't know that in those 2 days when she slept, her own affairs were spread far and wide in the outer sect, and many people were looking forward to seeing what she would bring out to exchange for spiritual stones. 3 days later, Lu Mu Yan successfully entered the cultivation base of Middle Phase Sword Sovereign. This was also the result of her constant suppression, otherwise she would have been able to break through 2 months ago. After finishing, a red bee that wasn't quite yet the size of a palm waved its transparent wings and rubbed against Lu Mu Yan to express its hunger. The corner of Lu Mu Yan's lips twitched. Hungry again? Such a small body, yet eats the total of all the other spirit pets. If this went on, she'd die from poverty. Owner, Qi Huang is hungry again. Bing Ji watched the little scarlet bee buzz around Lu Mu Yan and couldn't help but roll his eyes. Lu Mu Yan held her forehead. Her only remaining spiritual stones were all eaten up by this little fellow. Whoever dared say she was a prodigal, she'd fight whoever. Now, there was obviously someone who was more of a prodigal than her. 3 months ago, after she completed a mission, she found that the Scarlet Bee Empress emerged from the pupa. Because of the blood essence contract, it was very close to her. But after a while, she discovered a drawback. This little fellow could eat too well. Since tasting spiritual stones and pills, nothing else could match its taste. In 3 months, Not only did it eat all the 30,000 spiritual stones she borrowed from Ling Fei Yang, but even most of her grade 3 pills were eaten. But it wasn't like there weren't any benefits eating maniacally like this. The Scarlet Bee Empress, from the moment of birth, was a Tier 4 demonic beast, and it only took 3 months to advance to Tier 5. Aside from the resources she provided, excelling talent was also an important reason. She tossed a grade 3 pill to it. When she saw its thin small hands tightly hugging the pill and start to nibble, she instantly felt helpless. No wonder in the secret classic that Yi Qing Han gave her, there was a piece of advice that said if one didn't have enough spiritual stones, one best not raise a Scarlet Bee Empress. Now she finally understood why. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Lu Mu Yen didn't name the Scarlet Bee Empress. She called it Qi Huang according to its wishes. This was the name of each generation of the Scarlet Bee Empress, and it had already accepted most of the inheritance memories. The Scarlet Bee Empress bore wisdom late, only at Tier 5, but its intelligence wasn't high. Only when it arrived at Tier 7 when it could start breeding scarlet bees would its intelligence be birthed, so the current consciousness of this little fellow was somewhat dull. After cleaning up, Lu Mu Yen found that she wasn't familiar with the sect, and the so-called commercial street wasn't in the sect's introduction jade slip either. After thinking about it, she ran to the smithing school to find Ling Fei Yang and the others. As soon as Lu Mu Yen entered the smithing school, she attracted the attention of many people, and those gazes were filled with curiosity and inquiry. An old pupil of the smithing school secretly rubbed his hands and walked up to Lu Mu Yen with a serious-looking smile and asked, "Is there something junior sister wants from the smithing school?" "I'm here to find Ling Fei Yang. Can I trouble senior brother to help call for him?" Lu Mu Yen nodded and smiled. She was currently wearing a bright red dress with a beautiful figure, and her stunning face had grown a lot. Her beauty that could cause the downfall of a kingdom had long been prevalent. She wasn't that kind of shy and delicate beauty, but was like a delicate rose with thorns. The contradictory temperament of having some wildness in her elegance only made her even more prominent. No matter what she wore, as long as she just stood there casually, gracefully, she would just always be that attractive. Junior brother Ling went out to do a mission together with junior brother Mo of the array school, so junior sister is probably here in vain today. The young pupil smiled gently. Lu Mu Yen thought a bit, then asked, "Then may I ask senior brother, is Yen Jun here?" "Junior brother Yen is in the smithing room. If junior sister wants to find him, I can take you there." "Then I'll trouble senior brother." Seeing that Lu Mu Yen followed a supervising pupil of the smithing school, the pupils of the smithing school also began to discuss in a whisper. "That little beauty is Lu Mu Yen, that mission maniac?" "Yeah, otherwise why would senior brother Lu be so diligent?" "Just which son of a bitch said that Lu Mu Yen, that mission maniac, is big and tall and was even more of a man than a man? Such a beauty can definitely be ranked among the top 5 of the sect. Those people are just talking nonsense with their eyes open. Isn't it all just jealousy? I heard that female pupil of the array school that's been making up rumors has been having a pretty hard time lately. More than hard. I heard that after Elder Ao Rong returned to the sect yesterday, he heard the rumors about the relative situation and went to the sect leader to rage. The headmaster of the array school already demoted the core pupil who secretly spread the rumors to an ordinary pupil. Serves her right. She's not as strong as the others but still wants to gossip. This isn't the secular world, but don't tell me she wants to cause sect intrigue one. I heard that Lu Mu Yen was the champion of the Tianling Continental Tournament for hegemony and Elder Ao Rong snatched her from the elders of the other 5 major sects. Only those idiots would spread that kind of foolish rumor. So there's actually that. No wonder Lu Mu Yen can choose to live in a separate courtyard when she came to the sect. In the past, we couldn't snatch anything from the other 5 major sects, but this time, Elder Ao Rong actually snatched the first place, so it's natural to pay more attention to her. The inside story that broke out among the pupils of the array school also spread to the other schools on purpose, and even the inner sect began to hear the name Lu Mu Yen. Yen Jun was currently refining a low-grade saint treasure. He had already failed several times before, and this time, he was also about to fail. Hearing the telepathic transmission from the supervising pupil, he had someone bring Lu Muyen in. 1A play on the term palace intrigue or harem intrigue, or maybe even palace/harem fight, whichever you've heard. Basically that pupil's making fun of all the drama that happens in palaces, which is usually in the secular world where there are still mortals who can't cultivate, and relating it to Lu Muyan's situation lol. Chapter 349. Give guidance. After Lu Muyen followed senior brother Lu into an underground smithing room, she felt a wave of heat hit her face. She looked around and saw that there was an underground fire in every smithing room here. The pupils of the smithing school could not only use the power of the underground fire, but it could also help improve their success rate. Yan Jun knew that the two entered, but he didn't speak. He kept staring at the Saint treasure in the smithing furnace with his mental energy, sweat dripping from his forehead. He was a grade 3 smith, and recently touched the bottleneck of grade 4, so he had been trying to refine Saint treasures in hopes of breaking through. This time, it was also the last batch of materials he prepared for refining the Saint treasure. If he failed to break through to grade 4, he would have to retreat for a while. Senior brother Lu, as a pupil of the smithing school, was also a high-level grade 3 smith, but he had no idea that this junior brother was almost going to break through to grade 4. Such talent was something that even very few inner pupils could match. No wonder the headmaster valued Yan Jun so much. He glanced at the smithing furnace in front of Yan Jun and gradually revealed slight pity. Although he didn't understand why the Saint treasure refined by Yan Jun would have problems at critical moments, but after all, he had not yet reached that grade 4 level, though he could still feel that explosive energy. Lu Muyen walked beside Yan Jun, rubbed her chin and looked at the refining furnace, then suddenly said, "There's something wrong with your fire control. The fire's too strong, so turn it down by a third." Yan Jun didn't expect Lu Muyen would say this to him. He was already prepared for the materials to be scrapped, but now that he heard her words, he decided to give it a try, so he reduced the fire power by 1/3. What he didn't expect was that with the smaller firepower, the energy that was almost unable to resist an explosion also weakened. But according to common sense of smithing, his previous firepower was correct. The U-spars contain a very gentle water element. It needs to be slowly evaporated with medium fire. Your previous fire was too big to directly roast it, so it almost caused you to fail in refining your Saint treasure. Lu Muyen saw that he was puzzled and kindly explained. Senior brother Lu's expression changed, and he asked, "But if the firepower of the refining is reduced at this time, the hardness will be affected when it's finally formed, and it won't reach the grade of a Saint treasure. If the final result was a Saint tool, then there was no point in improving." Yan Jun also had the same question inwardly. While controlling the intensity of the flame as Lu Muyen said, he looked at her asking for advice. Who stipulated that the final flame of smithing needed to be a big fire? The temperature requirements below grade 4 are almost all due to the materials when smithing. The materials for smithing Saint treasures are very different from those you use to refine grade 3 Saint tools. Didn't you discover that? Lu Muyen had a serious look on her face. Yan Jun suddenly felt as if he had caught onto something. You mean that the smiths above grade 4 all control the heat according to the materials when smithing? Not only do you need to control the heat according to the materials, but also understand the attributes of the materials. Just like the Saint treasure you're finding now. The properties of the U-spar and the bright jade glaze are complete opposites. If you added some vanadium power to neutralize the properties of the two, even if you used the heat earlier, you wouldn't have come close to exploding like that. If you don't add neutralizing materials, then you need to control the degree of firepower, so you must know the properties and characteristics of smithing materials. Also, you have to feel the changes of each material during the refining and fusion process with your heart, and turn them into a part of you, as if you're melting yourself into it. Then you'll definitely be able to break through to grade 4. Lu Muyen thought a bit, then made a few remarks. Yan Jun's eyes lit up and asked, "I can feel that the U-spar is more harmonious with the other materials after removing the water element now, and the bright jade glaze is starting to soften. Should I increase the firepower now?" Smart. Go to the forming stage according to your feelings. Don't bring in the fixed thinking when refining a saint tool. The highest state of smithing is to comprehend it with your heart. After speaking, Lu Mu Yen turned around and walked not far away to sit on a chair, no longer prompting. Smithing was different to alchemy. Spiritual tools came from the hands of smiths, and each of their attributes, shapes and uses were all different. There were only methods but no formulas, and one needed to deeply comprehend it themselves. Yan Jun closed his eyes and suddenly, there was a sense of enlightenment. He wholeheartedly probed his mental energy into the refining furnace to feel the changes of the materials in the furnace, controlling the firepower and fusion according to his understanding and experience of the materials. He gradually indulged in a strange state. Senior brother Lu was also staring at the refining furnace to observe the changes in it, and his eyes sometimes revealed confusion, other times enlightenment. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. 2 hours later, the refining furnace made a crisp sound, and a cyan light escaped from within it. Yan Jun grabbed, and a cyan bangle fell in his hands. Although the bangle didn't have too many decorations and appeared ordinary, but it had a faint sense of restraint. It's really completed. After refining this defensive bangle, Yan Jun's mood also changed a lot. He actually arrived at a grade 4 smith as if it was a matter of course. Lu Mu Yen chuckled, "Congratulations on becoming a grade 4 smith. You're probably the first grade 4 smith in the smithing school of the outer sect. It's all thanks to your guidance that I can become a grade 4 smith today." Yan Jun's eyes were filled with gratitude. If it weren't for Lu Mu Yan's enlightenment, he might not have been able to advance to grade 4 for many years because he had forced himself to a dead end. No wonder there were so few smiths grade 4 and above, and they generally didn't easily explain their own experiences to others. It turned out that it was because they had to understand the true meaning of smithing themselves. Lu Mu Yen smiled carefreely, "It's all because of your talent." Senior brother Lu was also very excited right now. After hearing Lu Mu Yan's words just now, he also felt that he had grasped onto something, and he believed that he would be able to touch that barrier in time. It is better listening to junior sister Lao's words than reading 10 years of books. Even the elder of the smithing school hadn't mentioned these essences to us. You're also a high-grade smith, right? If Lu Mu Yen wasn't very familiar with smithing, then how could she possibly instruct Yan Jun to refine a saint treasure-level magic tool? In particular, her familiarity with smithing materials was better than them smiths. It not only made him extremely shocked, but he also admired her a little more. "I only heard about it too. It's good that it's useful to you." Lu Mu Yen smiled faintly, obviously not wanting to say any more. When they realized that she was avoiding and didn't want to say anything, they tacitly stopped asking. Senior brother Lu looked at Lu Mu Yen thoughtfully and took this favor of her guidance to heart. "Mu Yen, did you come to find me today for something?" Yan Jun asked with a beautiful arc on his thin lips. He was now certain that Lu Mu Yen was definitely a smith, and her level wasn't low either. Just what kind of little monster was this woman? Was there anything she didn't know how to do? Now wasn't the time to ask her for advice, however. When he had an opportunity, he still wanted to find her to discuss the experience of smithing. Lu Mu Yen nodded. "Are you familiar with the commercial street?" "Commercial street? I've been there a few times, but I wouldn't consider myself to be that familiar with it." Yan Jun thought a bit, then replied. "As long as you've been there, that's fine. If you've got nothing to do right now, can you accompany me to the commercial street?" Lu Mu Yen asked. "No worries, it's my honor to accompany a beauty to the commercial street," Yan Jun said jokingly. Lu Mu Yen rolled her eyes at him. "It's getting late, let's go quickly." "Junior sister Lu, I'm quite familiar with the commercial street. If you don't mind, I can take you both there," Lu Qian said with a smile. He became more and more curious about this junior sister who had a loud reputation in the outer sect. Taking her to the commercial street could also be considered a little repayment for the guidance just now. Sure. Then he'll trouble senior brother. It could save a lot of trouble if there was a supervising pupil of the array school take them. It'd be a waste if she didn't accept labor that was sent to her door willingly. Chapter 350. Release news. The commercial street was on a floating island specially designed by the 8 Extremes sect not too far from the main hall. When Lu Mu Yen and Yen Jun arrived, they saw people flying in and out of the island. After landing on the island, Lu Mu Yen observed the surrounding shops and pupils with great interest. The commercial street was very prosperous with rows upon rows, and the streets were bustling with people coming and going. So the commercial street is actually so lively. Lu Mu Yen couldn't help but sigh that the 8 Extremes sect was quite good at doing business, and the various shops could be seen to all have some backgrounds at first glance, and probably had involvement from each school. Lu Qian said with a smile, actually, the commercial street isn't so lively in the past. It's just that for the next 10 days, it's the annual blooming festival, so it attracted pupils from the outer sect and inner sect to join in the fun. Blooming festival? Lu Mu Yen looked askance and asked in surprise. Lu Qian remembered that Lu Mu Yen had been in the sect for a year but rarely came out to do any activities. Knowing that she didn't know, he explained with a smile, the blooming festival is actually a festival organized by shops of all sizes on the commercial street. Within the 10 days of the festival, the stores will sell many fine or rare items that aren't usually available for sale with limited quantities every day, and the prices of other items are only 80% of the usual price. Meaning that 2,000 spiritual stones could be taken off from 10,000? Yen Jun revealed some interest in his eyes. He had just run out of smithing materials now. Since it was so much cheaper, he had to buye more. However, Lu Mu Yen grasped the main point, looked at Yen Jun and said, daily limited purchase means that the quantity of things is very small, so if you arrive late, it basically means you have no chance. The price is also only 80% of the usual, so there would definitely be many more pupils rushing to buy things. It'll be useless if it's all sold out then. True. Is doing some festival just for this? Yen Jun asked with furrowed brows. Of course not. The blooming festival is about interacting and communicating. During the 10 days of the festival, as long as pupils wanted to trade things, they can set up a stall at a designated location on the commercial street, and there's no stall fee. This not only facilitates the communication between pupils, but also allowed the pupils who rarely go out be able to exchange for what they need. Lu Qian continued to explain with a smile. Lu Mu Yan's expression revealed an understanding, so that's how it is. Such festivals can indeed benefit each other. Junior sister Lu wants to buy something? I'm quite familiar with the shops in this commercial street, so I can introduce you to one or two. Lu Qian guessed that Lu Mu Yen was here to buy something. Lu Mu Yen shrugged, I'm not here to buy things, I'm here to sell things. You want to sell something? You're someone that lacks spiritual stones? Yen Jun knew that Lu Mu Yen had earned quite a lot of spiritual stones in the competition space. Lu Mu Yen rolled her eyes at him, how am I not short on spiritual stones? I'm recently dying of poverty. Not only did it cost spiritual stones and resources to cultivate herself, but she also had a huge expense to raise those picky spirit pets. The corner of Yen Jun's lips twitched. If Lu Mu Yen was considered poor, then what would they be? Beggars? I remember that you got at least 100,000 spiritual stones in the competition space, don't say you spent it all. Nonsense, if I didn't spend it, I wouldn't not have a single cent right now. Lu Mu Yen sighed. It seemed that it was the first time she had been so poor. Yen Jun and Lu Qian couldn't help but hold their foreheads when they heard her say this. More than 100,000 spiritual stones was spent just like this. This woman spent money way too fast. Who could afford to raise her in the future? What does junior sister want to sell? The shops here also accept demonic beast corpses, crystal cores, pills, talismans and such. Lu Qian said. Do they accept spirit tools and saint tools and such? Lu Mu Yen asked after thinking for a bit. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, the shops under the smithing school accept them, but the price isn't too high. After all, when they sell it themselves, they have to make a profit. Lu Qian paused, then said, if junior sister wants to sell magic tools, why don't you come here to set up a stall to sell them over the next few days? It should be higher than the price of selling them directly to the shops. That's an idea, but I don't know the general price. How about we first estimate the price of what I want to sell? When we set up a stall, if we can sell it at a high price, well, sell it. If we can't, then well, toss it to other shops. Lu Mu Yen rubbed her chin and felt that this method was feasible and safe. Yan Jun looked at her speechlessly and asked, "You're not going to sell a lot of things, are you?" "I'm almost dying from poverty, of course I have to sell a lot of things to pay for it." Lu Mu Yen glanced at him. She had way too many things she didn't use, and it was a waste for it to just sit there idly. Then she asked Lu Qian, "Senior brother, all the large shops here are set up by each school, right?" It's also not a secret, many pupils know it. It was because they knew that they were stores set up by each school that no pupils dared to cause trouble. They won't cheat people, right? Lu Mu Yen asked again. Lu Qian's eyelids twitched. This junior sister spoke too directly. They naturally won't cheat people. After all, it will affect the school's image if it spreads. That's good. Let's go and have a look. Lu Mu Yen smiled. So from the first store, she kept taking out things and asking the manager in the store to estimate the price. After evaluating the price, she took the two people to the next store. Only after asking all the medium and large size stores in the city did Lu Mu Yen stop. Then Lu Qian used some connections to get a fairly front position in a cell phone trading area. "Mu Yen, you actually want to sell so many things?" Yan Jun asked in disbelief when he saw that Lu Mu Yen could take out so many different things each time she went to a big store for an estimate price. This woman actually had so many good things to sell. Did she not want to let people live? No other way, too poor. Lu Mu Yen shrugged, spreading out her hands. Lu Qian and Yan Jun glanced at each other and found each other's helplessness. She called herself poor when she could so easily take out so many good things to sell. How should they, the true poor people, feel? "Then you're going to set up a stall today?" Yan Jun asked. Lu Mu Yen winked at him and asked instead, "Yan Jun, you've been in the sect for a year, you can spread some news, right?" Yan Jun's handsome face stiffened. He just knew that this woman definitely didn't look for him simply to wander around the commercial street. But he still resigned to fate and said, "I can." "What news do you want to spread?" "Come here and I'll tell you." Lu Mu Yen whispered into Yan Jun's ear, saying her plan, then added, "I'll set up a stall after you get things done." Yan Jun couldn't help revealing some appreciation after hearing her words. This woman was really as cunning as a fox. Lu Qian naturally heard what she said since he was close, and the corners of his lips couldn't help but raise. This was a good idea. The next day, there was gossip that spread within the sect. The mission maniac would set up a stall at the blooming festival for 3 days. Not only will there be a lot of saint tools, saint treasures, and talismans, but there would also be 4 kinds of top-quality grade 3 pills. What made many female pupils of the sect interested and crazy was that Lu Mu Yen even sold the legendary beauty-enhancing pill. The headmaster of the talisman school had also already taken it, and the effect was very good. Chapter 351, Enchanting Beauty. In addition to the pupils of the sect who learnt that Lu Mu Yen was going to sell a lot of good things, the headmasters of each school also received the news. After hearing Ding Hao talk about this, Wu Linglong, the headmaster of the talisman school, not only didn't blame Lu Mu Yen for using her as an example, but also ordered Ding Hao to arrange for several pupils to go help, which also incidentally acknowledged the efficacy of the beauty-enhancing pill. The beauty-enhancing pill was a good thing. After taking it for a year, her skin was not only softer and firmer, but she also looked a few years younger. Most importantly, some lingering diseases from her body type that had remained due to her cultivation were all eradicated too. The names of the 2 pills Lu Mu Yen wanted to sell were released, and it successfully attracted the attention of the superiors of the alchemy school because no one in the alchemy school had refined these 2 kinds of pills before. They were even more curious about the 2 other pills that had not yet been named. The headmaster of the alchemy school felt as if his heart was bleeding when he heard Lu Mu Yen was going to sell a large amount of grade 3 pills. He originally only thought that Lu Mu Yan had the dual attributes of fire and wood at great achievement and was suited to be an alchemist, yet who knew that she was already a grade 3 alchemist. Such talent and grade could be regarded as one of the best among the elite pupils in the inner sect. Just why did he let her be placed in the talisman school in the first place? It wasn't that he didn't think that she got the pills from somewhere else, but after hearing the amount of pills she was going to sell, the superiors all dismissed this thought, and the most likely guess was that she had already advanced to a grade 3 alchemist. The alchemist school also sent several supervising pupils to observe it in a few days and buy a few of Lu Mu Yan's pills to study. Since the rise of the Lu clan on the continent, selling the beauty-enhancing pill, the female sword masters on the continent had all gone crazy, especially after it was proved to be effective. They all rushed to the Lu clan to buy it, and would all pre-order it if they couldn't. The beauty-enhancing pills in the Lu clan's hands were sold in limited quantities for a limited time. Each time it was on the market they were bound to be snatched up in a frenzy, and there were countless people who desired it yet couldn't obtain it. In fact, all 6 major sects sent people to buy it. After the beauty-enhancing pill was obtained, many great alchemist masters in the sects also started to study the ingredients of the pill, but they were all disappointed in the end. They had figured out some ingredients of several pills, but they just couldn't refine them. One was that there was no pill formula, so they didn't know the ratio of each spiritual herb, and also because there was a spiritual herb that they just couldn't figure out. 2. There weren't many of them that could find scarlet bee honey, which was a rare thing on this entire continent. The elders of the 6 major sects also knew that Lu Mu Yan had attracted scarlet bees to chase her and how she shared the honey during the Tianling Continental Tournament for hegemony. The Lu clan also had no contact with grade 3 alchemists, so the 8 extreme sect superiors all deduced that the pill was refined by herself. After the news spread, many pupils from the entire sect, regardless of whether it was the outer sect or the inner sect, became interested. 3 days later, the pupils flew towards the floating island one after another. Lu Mu Yan called Yan Jun, and Ling Fei Yang and Mo Ling, who came back from their missions early in the morning to help. When she arrived, other pupils were setting up stalls, and there were already several female pupils waiting at the stall she occupied. This must be junior sister Lu. An enchanting-looking woman walked to Lu Mu Yan's stall. After sizing her up, her eyes revealed a bit of surprise, but there was no jealousy. After all, the woman herself was also very outstanding in appearance. "Hello, senior sister," Lu Mu Yan shouted with a sweet smile. The enchanting woman giggled, and didn't ask in a roundabout way, "Junior sister Lu, I heard that you're going to sell beauty-enhancing pills today? Come and read on our website Wuxia World site." Thanks, she knew about the beauty-enhancing pills. Last time she went out on a mission, she saw her mother take it. Her whole person looked more than 10 years younger. After she took one, the effect was indeed good. It was just a pity that the Lu clan limited its quantity and time, and although she pre-ordered, she didn't know when she would get it. She could only go back to the sect in disappointment and asked her clan to go to the Lu clan to pre-order a few and deliver them to her. As soon as she heard the news spread in the sect, she followed several pupils from the same school in hopes to buy a few. "Today, I'm indeed selling some beauty-enhancing pills, but senior sister is already so beautiful, you still want to take it?" Lu Mu Yan blinked and saw at the pleasant surprise in the woman's eyes. As a woman, who didn't like being told she was beautiful, Lu Mu Yan would naturally not be stingy with compliments. What's more, this woman was indeed a kind of beauty that was beautiful and moving and full of enchantment, but not flirtatious. Moreover, this woman was wearing the clothes of the inner sect. Judging from the fearful gazes around her, her status shouldn't be low. After befriending her, it would be easier to inquire about news from the inner sect. When the woman heard Lu Mu Yan's words, she smiled more sincerely. "Junior sister's little mouth is really sweet. But this senior sister still wants to buy a few pills to take. Didn't the beauty-enhancing pill also have the effects of maintenance and rejuvenation? The beauty-enhancing pill is a holy product for appearance and beauty. After taking the beauty-enhancing pill, it will definitely make senior sister more attractive and beautiful, glowing with charming brilliance, with flowers blooming upon seeing you and people loving you when they meet you, 16 years old every day." Lu Mu Yen tossed a bunch of good words out without even drafting, making Yen Jun and the others twitch their lips. This woman could really talk nonsense just to sell pills. But did this beauty-enhancing pill really have such an effect? They also wanted to give it a try. Giggle, the woman laughed and quivered with joy. I wonder how you're selling this beauty-enhancing pill? I usually like beauties the most, and senior sister is also the first to come to take care of my business. The original price requires 20,000 spiritual stones each, but I'll now sell it to senior sister for 15,000 for one. Lu Mu Yen said with a smile. Huh, little girl really is lovable. Then give me 10 pills. The enchanting woman tried a price with a smile, but she didn't have much hope inwardly. After all, the Lu clan only sold a limited 2 pills to each person. Moreover, the price Lu Mu Yen gave wasn't deceitful. As far as she knew, the price of the beauty-enhancing pills sold by the Lu clan in limited quantities was also 20,000 spiritual stones each. In the black market, it was even priced at 30 or 40,000, and it was still sold out. It could be seen how popular the beauty-enhancing pill was. This sweet little girl even gave her a discount of 5,000 spiritual stones each. She came from a superpower kingdom superpower clan, and her paternal grandfather was even an elder of the smithing pavilion, so she didn't lack spiritual stones at all. She didn't care about such an amount of spiritual stones, but Lu Mu Yan's actions made her feel very comfortable. Lu Mu Yan pondered for a little, then said with a look as if she was going all out, all right. I plan to limit the purchase of 2 per person, but today, I'll make an exception to sell 10 to senior sister. Don't worry, little girl, senior sister will remember this favor. The enchanting woman quickly took out the spiritual stones and handed it to Lu Mu Yen. After accepting the pills, she immediately opened the bottle and poured one out for a look. The pill was lustrous and full, exuding a sweet but not greasy fragrance. The enchanting-looking woman's face expressed even more joy. Because she had taken the beauty-enhancing pill before, she naturally knew that it was not only real, but the quality was also very high. Little girl, the beauty-enhancing pills you took out are all top-quality grade 3 pills which are even higher than those I bought at the Lu clan last time. If you only need 15,000 spiritual stones, you're making a loss, right? It's fine, I always do things as I want. I liked senior sister at first sight, so price is nothing. Lu Mu Yen was telling the truth. She indeed had a good impression of this enchanting beauty before her. The enchanting woman also felt the same. Although she was a lot older than Lu Mu Yen, but she was just pleasing to her eye. Little girl, Jean say, will befriend a friend like you. You can come find me in the smithing school in the inner sect if you have anything you need in the future. Chapter 352, What about being low profile? Hearing Jean SCS words, some of the people standing around couldn't help but gasp. Jean Say, the direct disciple of the headmaster of the smithing school, had a great reputation in the inner sect and ranked in the top 30 in the inner sect's contribution points ranking and Rising Soul Steel 1. Not only was she beautiful and enchanting, her strength amazing, but her temper was also very tyrannical. She never gave any face to people who weren't pleasing to her eyes. She did things ruthlessly, was called a demoness and was known as ferocious across the sect. Even the top 3 pupils didn't dare provoke this grand aunt. She was domineering and arrogant in the inner sect and she did things unscrupulously, so her interpersonal relationships weren't the best, and there were many people who were afraid of her. But no one would have thought that she would show kindness to Lu Mu Yen just because she bought a few pills. This was truly unheard of, and many people envied Lu Mu Yen, a pupil of the outer sect, to be able to befriend Jean Say. Sure. If I'm bullied in the future, I'll definitely report senior sister's name. Lu Mu Yen raised an arc on her lips and blinked at Jean Say, seeing the other party's beautiful watery eyes staring at her. Jean SCS heart suddenly softened, and her bright face revealed slight wildness. Good. If anyone dares to bully you, Laonyang will help you beat them to death. It was rare to find a woman she found pleasant, so it was fine to help. Hearing Jean SCS bold words, many people shuddered. Then thank you, senior sister. Lu Mu Yen knew that this was Jean SCS' true temperament now. However, she liked people who were arrogant and domineering but had a clear heart and had their own opinions. It was better than those who smiled gently on the outside but stabbed one in the back. "I'll leave first as I have something to do." Jean Sei suddenly remembered something, then came to Lu Muyan's ear and said, "Little girl, in the future, when senior sister goes to the Lu clan to buy beauty-enhancing pills, I wouldn't need to pre-order and wait, right?" "No need. If senior sister needs to buy beauty-enhancing pills or other pills in the future, you can come to me directly and I'll still give you a 20% discount." Lu Muyan smiled lightly. Their voices were basically whispers, and Jean Sei also used her elemental energy to isolate sound, so others only saw their relatively intimate appearance, which instantly terrified them. Little junior sister is really a wonderful person. When you have time, come to the inner sect to find senior sister. Jean Sei patted Lu Muyan's shoulder, then stepped onto a silver-arced sword and flew away. Lu Muyan curbed the smile in her eyes. This senior sister was also very interesting and could be befriended. 5 beauty-enhancing pills are still available for sale today. First come first serve. Each person is limited to only 20,000 spiritual stones, no second price. Lu Muyan said with a light smile when she saw the people around her looking at her with complex gazes. Hearing that there were only 5 beauty-enhancing pills left, many people rushed forward to buy them. Although Jean Sei only spent 15,000 spiritual stones for one, but they didn't dare try to compare with that demoness. Those who lined up first successfully bought the beauty-enhancing pills and left happily, while those that didn't obtain any were disappointed and kept pestering Lu Muyan. After learning that Lu Muyan would sell 10 pills tomorrow, they made up their minds to queue up early next morning. Seeing that there were still a lot of people surrounding them, Lu Muyan took out a few saint tools and saint treasures and said, hitting the iron while it was hot, "These are all made by great master smiths of various sects, don't miss out when you pass by." "Junior sister, how do you know that these magic tools were crafted by great masters of various sects?" A large, tall man with a wild, handsome appearance walked up to Lu Muyan and swept the magic tools on the table with his gaze. Lu Muyan replied honestly, "Because these are return gifts given to me by the elders of the various sects during the Tianling Continental Tournament for Hegemony." "Do you think they'd give away fakes?" These were all things that Elder Ao Rong asked for from the other elders after the sect selection. Euphemistically, he said that since a junior gifted the seniors some rare century-old scarlet bee honey, then the seniors should also gift the junior a gift. So the elders could only take out their unused saint tools and saint treasures to gift Lu Muyan. Of course, even if it was something they didn't need and used to gift to someone, it wouldn't be that bad. After all, when at their status, if the goods were too poor, they wouldn't keep it on them either. Hearing what she said, the man's eyes showed a bit of interest. He picked up a saint treasure and looked at it with a smile as he said, "Indeed good. Why is junior sister willing to take it out to sell? Come and read on our website Wuxia World site." Thanks, he wasn't actually testing anything. He was just curious. The defensive shield he held was a middle-quality saint treasure. How could Lu Muyan be willing to sell it? Lu Muyan spread out her hands to him and shrugged, "Because I'm poor, I have to sell it as a last resort. How about senior brother buy one?" When everyone heard her remarks, they couldn't help but twitch the corners of their lips. Didn't she just earn 250,000 spiritual stones from selling beauty-enhancing pills? But she's now shouting poor? And why did it feel like these saint treasures were worthless in her eyes? Did she know the value of these goods or not? "How are you selling this middle-quality saint treasure I'm holding?" The man was holding a small, scaled shield. Lu Muyan glanced at the shield, then said, 200,000 spiritual stones, no second price. Defense-type middle-quality saint treasures usually sold more than 200,000 at auctions. The price she gave was very moderate as she didn't want to cause any trouble due to price. "All right, I want it." A faint smile appeared on the man's lips, his eagle-like eyes narrowed as he tossed a bag of spiritual stones to Lu Muyan and left. Lu Muyan put away the spiritual stones and watched his back. Although Bi restrained his aura and appeared harmless, but this man was definitely not simple. Moreover, The eyes of the people around him who were wearing the clothes of inner pupils slightly constricted when they saw him. Presumably, this man wasn't any ordinary person in the inner sect. Afterwards, regardless of what Lu Mu Yen sold, magic tools or pills, they were all sold out, which helped her earn millions of spiritual stones, and she instantly stepped into the ranks of the rich. With money, she was naturally generous, and she wasn't stingy with Ling Fei Yang and the other two who helped her for the day. She gave each of them 10 beauty-enhancing pills and asked them to come every day to set up a stall themselves. She wouldn't come. Lu Mu Yen, you sure can make money. Yen Jun put away the beauty-enhancing pills. This woman spent money like flowing water, but her ability to make money was even stronger. He wouldn't come to sell these beauty-enhancing pills tomorrow. Next time, he would take this home to honor his mother and grandmother. They would definitely be happy. But he'll run out of money soon. Lu Mu Yen sighed, thinking of the prodigal spirit pets she had. The three didn't want to talk to her anymore. She was just here to emotionally attack people. By the way, elder cousin brother, here are 10 beauty-enhancing pills. Help me sell them here tomorrow. Lu Mu Yen wouldn't show mercy to call her own elder brother to work. Ling Fei Yang took the pills dotingly and said with a smile, no problem. Lu Mu Yan's every move today was passed on to the ears of the various headmasters. When they heard that she sold the things gifted by the elders of the 5 other major sects openly, they didn't know whether to cry or laugh. Ao Rong was originally drinking tea and playing Go with the sect leader. After hearing the report, he spat out his tea. He couldn't help but hold his forehead. What about the low profile they spoke of? With such blatantness and high profile, it was difficult not to let the inner pupils pay attention to her. When those little brats were prepared, how could she compete for a spot? Ao Rong, you don't have to worry about that girl, she must have her own plans in doing this. The sect leader was disgusted with the teacup Ao Rong spat at and replaced it with a new one. That's true, that girl's as shrewd as a fox. Add her name to the mission next month. The sect leader pondered for a bit, then said. Huh. Ao Rong jerked his head up at the sect leader and said, that mission is very dangerous. After all, she hasn't grown up yet. If something happens, it'll be more than a simple loss. The premise of growth is to grind. The sect leader replied with only a sentence. All right. One never mentioned before, but supposedly a ranking system for how strong people are. Chapter 353, 6 Major Sects Joint Mission. Lu Mu Yen sold out all the things she wanted to sell, went to buy a batch of spiritual herbs and materials for refining talismans, then went back to her courtyard for closed-door cultivation. She refined all the spiritual herbs she bought into grade 3 and 4 pills, and she was just finishing up refining all the grade 3 pills that she was going to send to the Lu clan before leaving closed-door cultivation. Bing Ji, send these pills to the Lu clan and give it to my father. Lu Mu Yen packed the pills into an interspatial ring and handed it to Bing Ji. Bing Ji knew the responsibility was heavy, so he swallowed the interspatial ring into a small space in his abdomen. Don't worry, owner, I'll definitely deliver the pills. Come back soon. I'll send you a 1,000 communication talisman if anything happens. Lu Mu Yen put some things for Bing Ji into an interspatial ring. If you have any urgent matters, use the communication talisman inside to send a message. Bing Ji rubbed his head against Lu Mu Yan's shoulder, spread his wings, then looked at Miao Miao and the others and flew out of the sect reluctantly. The 8 extreme sect pupils couldn't go out often, but Lu Mu Yen had applied for permission to let her spirit pets exit freely with Ao Rong's help. Otherwise they wouldn't be able to replenish the pills for the Lu clan's pill shop. After she finished refining the pills, she took out the purchased materials and started refining grade 3 and 4 talismans. One day, just after she finished refining a grade 3 invisibility talisman, she heard Elder Ao Rong's voice transmission. After cleaning up, she stepped on a sword and flew to the council hall. As soon as she stepped into the council hall, several gazes of surprise fell on her. Lu Mu Yan's eyes also revealed slight surprise, because she didn't only see Gu Xiu here, but but also Jean Sei and the wild man who bought her middle-quality saint treasure. Pupil pays respects to sect leader. Lu Mu Yen walked up to the sect leader with a smile and greeted with a pupil greeting, neither humble nor arrogant. The sect leader smiled gently and said, "No need. I have an important thing to tell you today." "Sect leader, please tell." Lu Mu Yan's expression didn't change, calm and composed. "The specific situation is like this." The sect leader's gentle expression revealed a somewhat cautious look. "Our 6 major sects recently discovered some suspicious signs in an area, and the pupils who guarded nearby disappeared inexplicably after going to investigate. However, it's strange as their soul tablets haven't broken, so each force decided to send a few pupils to investigate. And you are all candidates for this mission." Lu Mu Yen was silent, then asked, "May I ask why sect leader chose me to participate in this mission?" Aside from her and another pupil who was wearing the outer sect uniform, the rest were all inner sect pupils. She was more curious about what the superiors of the sect were planning. "Are you afraid?" the sect leader asked instead. Lu Mu Yen chuckled, "I'm not afraid, I just want to know the reason. You and Ruan Wenjia are the 2 new outer core pupils we are very optimistic about, so we decided to let you both go out to train and sharpen your skills." The sect elder didn't hide too much either, although the mission this time is very dangerous, but the inner core pupils will lead you both to complete the mission, and your safety is still guaranteed. "Are there any new pupils from other sects participating?" Lu Mu Yen thought about it and asked. "Naturally, yes. Excellent pupils from various major sects will not be hidden or concealed. Without being tempered, you won't be able to achieve great things in the future." The sect leader constantly observed the changes in Lu Mu Yan's mood and expressions, but he found that it never changed since she entered the door to when he finished speaking about the mission. She was still indifferent and calm, and he couldn't help but feel an appreciation for her. "Of course, you can also choose to give up and it won't affect your current status in the sect." "I'll go. Since the sect leader and the elders gave me this opportunity, I will naturally cherish it." Lu Mu Yen replied firmly with a smile. After she finished speaking, the 2 elders and the sect leader present were quite satisfied. If she chose to retreat, they wouldn't force it, but she would no longer be worth their efforts to raise. The path of cultivation for a sword master was filled with ups and downs to begin with. To go against the heavens required the courage to dare to challenge danger. This time, your leader is Gu Xiu. You can discuss anything with him. The sect leader stroked his beard and instructed. "Come and read on our website Wuxia World site." "Thanks," pupil obeys. "Sect leader, this pupil still has one thing to ask," Lu Mu Yen said with a smile. Gu Xiu and the others looked at her curiously, guessing whether she wanted to ask for protection or to want some powerful magic tools to protect her. "I would like to ask if there are any rewards if we complete this mission. For example, contribution points or spiritual stones." She blinked and asked with a smile. As soon as this question came up, everyone present couldn't resist twitching the corners of their lips. Was she obsessed with money now? She received so many contribution points from doing missions before, and sold things to get so many spiritual stones, but it still wasn't enough for her to spend? "Are you short of contribution points and spiritual stones?" Ao Rong could barely suppress a smile as he asked. Lu Mu Yan's appearance like a little miser when blinking made her look innocent and pure, so when she asked about rewards, no one felt dislike for her, but instead, felt she was very straightforward and lovable. Moreover, it was normal to get rewards after completing missions in the sect. Lu Mu Yen nodded fiercely, "Of course I lack them." Then she looked at Ao Rong with sparkling eyes and said, "Does Elder Ao want to support me a bit?" Ao Rong rolled his eyes at her in amusement. "This old man is poorer than you." Lu Mu Yen pouted in disbelief, but she also no longer bothered about this topic. She still understood when to stop. This mission is considered a rank 7 mission. As long as you can complete the mission and return, each of you will be rewarded with 3,000 contribution points, and the outstanding pupils will be rewarded 4,000 contribution points. The sect leader wasn't planning to let them go for nothing. "Yes." The several people answered in unison. All right, you may all leave to prepare to depart tomorrow. The sect leader waved to the several people and signaled that they could leave. Pupil will retire. After the several people left the door to the hall, Jinsei walked beside Lu Muyen and said with a smile, "Junior sister, I didn't expect for us to meet so soon." "Yeah. Senior sister, we're really fated." Lu Muyen nodded with a smile. "Senior sister is optimistic about you. Go back and prepare well. If you have Buddhist tools, you'd better bring it with you. See you tomorrow," Jinsei said. "Thank you for the reminder, senior sister. See you tomorrow." Lu Muyen felt that Jinsei's reminder was still very useful. Jinsei and Lu Muyen left after greeting the others casually. The others also greeted each other lightly, then left separately. Lu Muyen actually felt that apart from Jinsei and Gu Xiu, although the other people were a little curious about her, but they all felt a sense of distance and rejection, and they might even feel that she was likely to be a hindrance. She didn't care about their attitude, but was a little more interested in this mission. "Mo Yen, do you think that the devilish energy was created by some sort of devil race?" Lu Muyen asked Mo Yen, who was on her shoulder as she poked him. In the immortal cultivation world, in addition to the spiritual realm where she was located, there was also the devil realm, and there was a devil race in that realm. They didn't cultivate by absorbing spiritual force, but instead cultivated by absorbing true evil force, so the two races often battled between realms. Mo Yan's eyes revealed some gravity. There's indeed a devil realm here, but they're not a rare race. They're composed of ghost cultivators and devil cultivators. Because the realm they're in are all composed of dark evil and true evil force too, so they're called the devil race. So the one in my pendant belongs to the devil race? A playful arc rose on Lu Muyan's lips. One the same Ruan as Ruan Li, the principal of Empire Academy. You can find information about characters, items etc., not quite up to date but will update it soon. Warning, there will be some spoilers. However, I don't think they're related. I'm uncertain but I thought to point it out since Chinese readers would have most likely noticed this. But this surname isn't too uncommon, I don't think. Also, randomly, I was just searching up how common the Ruan surname is and, fun fact, the three surnames, Ruan, Chen, and Li, apparently make up almost 60% of the Vietnamese population. Ruan is actually the origins for Nguyen, Chen for Tran, and Lo for Li. Too. I have a slightly hard time translating dark evil and true evil force. They're the best translations I can think of for now, though I'm sure there are better ways to translate this. So I may potentially change it if I find better translations. And could have very different meanings depending on the context it's written in, which makes it difficult to translate. But you get the gist in this context, evil-related stuff. Chapter 354, Dispatched. Mo Yen knew of the ghost cultivator's existence in Lu Muyan's soul-nourishing wood pendant, and he was actually a little afraid of that person inwardly. He's from the devil race. At least, he must have been before he became a soul. He could still judge this much from his aura. It's a pity that he hasn't responded since he devoured those people last time, otherwise it would be good to call him out and ask about the devil race. Lu Muyen snorted coldly. Speaking of which, I almost forgot about my previous deal with him. When he wakes up, if he dares to hide his identity, I'll burn him with my spirit flame until he's filled with so much grief he wishes he was dead. She didn't even get a chance to ask about the memories extracted from the souls of those black-clothed people that he devoured before that damned ghost fell into a slumber and hadn't yet woken up even now. Who knew what he was doing? That devil cultivator of unknown origin always made her feel that he was a big hidden danger. But she had already did something like swap Thunder Monarch out, so it seemed taking in a devil cultivator wasn't a big deal. I wonder if that Thunder Monarch advanced to tier 10 or not yet. Lu Muyen rubbed her chin. Ever since Thunder Monarch signed a contract with Lu Muyen, he used a double skill to exchange his body in the competition space, but he didn't rush to leave the competition space even after she did. It wasn't until she rushed to the Lu clan did he take the opportunity to sneak away quietly. As he expected, the Almighties didn't find out. Tier 10 isn't so easy to advance to, it's still too early. Mo Yen said lightly. The spiritual force of this interface was very thin. Even if one had excelling talent, they wouldn't advance so quickly. Anyway, he still owes me favors. I'll let him do them next time I meet him, otherwise I'll be at a loss if some random slaps him to death somewhere outside. Lu Mu Yen said with a smile. Mo Yen rolled his eyes and said, he's not that idiot Bing Ji. Even Bing Ji wouldn't die, he wouldn't die even more. With the current strength of the Thunder Monarch, he could walk anywhere he wanted on this continent. Even if he encountered the #1 master of this continent, it wouldn't be difficult for him to escape. That's true. Early the next morning, Lu Mu Yen, Gu Xiu, and the others left the sect on a flying-type magic tool. The people who participated in the mission this time were Gu Xiu as the leader, Jin Sei, Xiao Yi, Yu Kong, and Peng Yang from the inner sect. The rest were her and Ruan Jia, who was also from the outer sect. Although she and Ruan Jia were both core pupils of the outer sect, but Ruan Jia's attitude towards her was extremely cold and he was more harmonious with the inner sect pupils. It was good that the several people weren't hostile to her, just indifferent, but of course, she wouldn't use her warm face to stick to other people's cold but one. Ruan Jia had been a highly anticipated 4 attribute sword master since entering the sect, had the rare thunder attribute, and had excelling talent and amazing strength. If it weren't for the fact that there was still more than a year left until the selection to enter the inner sect, he would have probably been a pupil of the inner sect by now. His preferential treatment in the sect was no worse than Lu Mu Yen, and even slightly higher. Most importantly, he was also a disciple of one of the ancestors of the sect. As long as he entered the inner sect, he could be promoted to a direct disciple of that ancestor. He had the capital to be proud. Towards Lu Mu Yen, he couldn't say he liked nor hated her, but he didn't acknowledge her. He was still a little uncomfortable when the sect leader placed them on one level. Along the way, the several people sat cross-legged and cultivated, and they basically said nothing. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. When they were about to reach a city, Jin Sei looked at Gu Xiu and asked, Senior Brother Gu, are we going to go directly to that place or meet up with the pupils of the other sects first? The place we're going to is Falling Ghost River. There's a small town nearby, and the pupils of the 6 sects agreed to gather there. Gu Xiu replied. Because the mission hadn't been disclosed openly before, so the several people didn't know that the mission location was at Falling Ghost River, and they couldn't help being stunned when they heard it. Lu Mu Yen had also heard of Falling Ghost River. It was a relatively mysterious place on Tianling continent. It was said that there was a bottomless abyss under the giant peak on the other side of the Falling Ghost River, and there was a perennial dark evil aura overflowing. Even ghost cultivators and devil cultivators dared not approach too deeply, otherwise they would be corroded by the dark evil aura and lose their mind. However, although the vicinity of the Falling Ghost River was dangerous, but it was also a natural resource pool, and many mercenary parties and wandering cultivators would go deep into it to complete missions or look for fortuitous opportunities. If those pupils disappeared inexplicably near the Falling Ghost River, it wouldn't be too weird, right? Jin Sei paused, then asked, there are many perils in that area, maybe they're just trapped somewhere. That's also possible, so in addition to investigating any news, the most important thing is to find and rescue the missing pupils of the various sects. Gu Xiu sighed and continued, this matter was discovered and reported by the pupils of the Heavenly Secret Palace. What the specific situation is, we'll have to wait until Falling Ghost River to hear it from the pupils of the Heavenly Secret Palace. So that's how it is. It's probably not a trivial matter to attract the attention of the Heavenly Secret Palace. We should be more vigilant. Yu Kong, who hadn't spoken a word along the way, said. Of course. Gu Xiu nodded, looked at the several people and cautioned, this time, each sect will send elite core pupils to participate in this mission, so try not to have any conflict from the people of the other sects. Because the 8 Extremes sect always came last in the grand competitions within the last century, they were indeed inferior to the other sects in overall strength, so when they encountered a joint mission, they would always be ridiculed by the pupils of the other sects, and conflicts often occurred. Of course, not all pupils would be so rude, but most of the elite pupils of various sects were arrogant people, and always had a disdainful attitude towards their 8 extremes sect, so it was easy to cause disputes and even physical fights. Humph, as long as they don't provoke Laonyang, it'll be fine. If they're that unfortunate to do so, then as if I care which sect's pupil they're from, I'll still beat them up to a pulp. Jinsei snorted coldly. She just didn't have a soft temper. When she was on a mission last time, she was angered by a pupil of the sword sect and beat him half to death. Naturally, her ferocity spread to the ears of pupils from other sects, but she didn't care about reputation. It's better to relax. Although Xiaoyi had an eagle-like wild temperament, but his heart was as intricate as dust, the mission this time is no small matter, and it's best to consider the bigger picture. Gu Xiu agreed, as long as they don't really bully us to our door, if it's just verbal provocations, then let's not care for the time being. After he finished speaking, his gaze deliberately lingered on Jinsei and Lu Muyen for a while longer. In fact, this sentence was mainly for the two of them. Everyone knew Jinsei's domineering demoness personality, but he was the only one who had seen Lu Muyen's performance in the competition space. This little woman appeared stable and quiet right now, but she was a master of causing trouble. When she was violent, she was shocking, and was not outdone by Jinsei. He didn't tell the others about Lu Muyen's past, however. It would be meaningless even if he did. It was best to just let them experience it for themselves. He believed that the barriers the several people set up against Lu Muyen would completely vanish after the mission was completed. Lu Muyen naturally noticed Gu Xiu's meaningful gaze. The corner of her lips hooked up. Her thoughts were the same as Jinsei's. It would be best if they could cooperate in peace and interact peacefully with each other, but if someone deliberately wanted to squish a soft persimmon, then she would definitely not be polite. One that she wouldn't go up with burning eagerness only to face their coldness. Chapter 355, Woman, I Missed You. The speed of the flying magic tool that Lu Muyen and the others were riding were comparable to Tier 7 demonic beasts, and it took them 12 days to arrive at Falling Ghost Town. When they arrived at the inn agreed on at Falling Ghost Town, the pupils of the other sects had already arrived one after another. The pupils of the 8 extremes sect are here. It's really going downhill these days, the weakest are even putting on airs, always the last to arrive. A pupil of the vast mountain sect pursed his lips. Another pupil sneered, of course the weakest will arrive last, so as to show their status at the bottom. As soon as Lu Muyen and the others entered the door, they heard the ridicule of the two. She furrowed her brows slightly. It seemed that the conflicts between the 8 extremes sect and the vast mountain sect wasn't only between the superior elders, but also between the pupils. What did you say? Dogs can't spit out ivory one. Do you believe that Laonyang will beat you to death? Jinsei's temper was relatively hot, and she was instantly ignited when she heard such ridicule. As soon as the other pupils looked up, they saw a glamorous and enchanting woman's face filled with hostility, and she appeared as if she was ready to act violently any time. The pupils of the vast mountain sect suddenly chalked and felt that they had no face. Although they were afraid of this female tyrant dragon too, but they immediately stood up and shouted, "Do you think we'll be afraid of you, demoness?" When Gu Xiu heard the words of the pupils of the vast mountain sect, they couldn't help but feel a little angry too, so they didn't stop Jinsei. Just as it appeared as if the swords on both sides were about to be drawn, a magnetic and clear voice sounded. Stop. When everyone looked over, they saw several white-clothed people walk downstairs. The leader was a man with a handsome appearance and extraordinary temperament. As soon as he appeared, it seemed that the brilliance was only lit for him. Lu Muyan's eyes revealed interest. It really was Ming Xiu, that guy. As soon as Ming Xiu raised his eyes, he met Lu Muyan's, and his dark eyes as deep as the sea were filled with a smile. Seeing that the person who came was the leader of the heavenly secret palace, the people on both sides immediately restrained their warring attitude. You two sects are both here to participate in the mission this time. I hope that you will not delay major events because of trivial things. If there is any enmity or conflict, it will not be too late to wait for the contests during the sect's grand competition. Ming Xiu walked over in front of everyone leisurely as if taking a walk through a garden, his voice gentle. but it contained a chilling ferocity. Brother Qi is joking, we were just saying those things, how could we actually fight? The leader of the vast mountain sect smiled shyly. They didn't want to offend Qi Xiu, the number one person of the inner sect of the Heavenly Secret Palace, for such a reason. Jin Se naturally knew Qi Xiu. This man was also the pupil she feared most in the Heavenly Secret Palace, and there was a sneer on her enchanting face. As long as the dog doesn't bite people, we naturally won't beat dogs. The vast mountain sect had always been at odds with their 8 extreme sect. Each time they entered a secret realm or the land of inheritance together, many pupils would be lost in the other's hands, so the 2 sects had the most grudges. Demonis, do you really think we won't dare do anything? The pupil of the vast mountain sect was furious and asked fiercely, rolling up his sleeves. Just as Jin Se was about to explode, an invisible pressure enveloped the entire hall. Except for Lu Mu Yan, the pupils, including the several other sects, revealed looks of astonishment. The pupils of the Heavenly Secret Palace, however, looked at Ming Xiu with admiration, especially the 2 women behind him whose eyes were so hot that they could burn someone. Lu Mu Yan glanced at Ming Xiu. This guy really was the focus wherever he went, and the eyes of many of the female cultivators here were practically glued to him. Humph, we'll see true power at the grand competition. The leader of the vast mountain sect was shocked by Ming Xiu's pressure and snorted coldly. Jin Se also fearfully retracted her aura and stopped talking. Qi Xiu was too strong and was not someone they could touch. Seeing that the 2 were no longer fighting, Ming Xiu curbed the aura released from him, walked to a chair in the hall, and sat down. Everyone, sit down. Let's talk about this mission first. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Hearing his words, the people who were standing all found a place to sit down. Brother Qi, what's happening with the disappearance of the pupils at Falling Ghost River this time? How was your honorable 3 sects investigation? The leader of the sword sect asked cautiously. Ming Xiu's eyes were light. We sent people to investigate after we received news of the disappearance of the guarding pupils nearby, and found that there might be devil cultivators nearby, but their soul tablets weren't broken, so there's just a feeling that something wasn't right. As for the detailed information, I don't have it here. It was precisely to investigate this matter that the Heavenly Secret Palace initiated the 6 sects mission this time. I see. Then this matter is rather difficult. The leading pupil of the medicine sect furrowed his brows. It would be troublesome if it was a devil cultivator who caused the trouble. Devil cultivator methods were ruthless and sinister, and they were even stronger than them sword cultivators at the same stage. Everyone rest for the night. Let's go to Falling Ghost River tomorrow to investigate for ourselves. The entire inn had been reserved by the 6 major sects, with 1 room each. After separating, the moment Lu Mu Yan entered a room, she was hugged from behind, and the familiar scent lingered on the tip of her nose. Woman, I missed you. Ming Xiu hugged Lu Mu Yan's waist and placed his head against her neck. And Mo Yan, who was standing on Lu Mu Yan's shoulder, was also shoved down by Ming Xiu. Mo Yan's dark eyes exuded a cold aura, and with a cold snort, he dashed into the spirit pet ring. Out of sight, out of mind. But why was he still so upset inwardly? He really wanted to tear Ming Xiu's thick face off, but he held back because of Lu Mu Yan. Lu Mu Yan would think of him from time to time since she discovered Ming Xiu was unique to her, so she didn't resist his hug. Your identity changes rather quickly. Lu Mu Yan chuckled lightly. Ming Xiu smelled the clean and refreshing fragrance of medicine on Lu Mu Yan, and the restlessness in his heart gradually subsided. His temperament was usually indifferent and unfeeling, but he never thought that one day, he would fall for a woman. Although they didn't meet many times, but he basically had all of Lu Mu Yan's news in his hands. Each little bit more that he got to know her, he missed her a little more, and he fell deeper and deeper. With a thought, Ming Xiu stretched out his hand and formed a few Taoist seals at will. The entire room was surrounded by a high-level spirit isolation array. Can't help it, I joined the Heavenly Secret Palace to investigate something, so I can't reveal my identity as the Hall Master of the 9-layer Hall. Lu Mu Yen saw that he could easily set up a grade 5 spirit isolation array, and her eyes deepened. She relaxed her body and let him hold her. You're a grade 5 array master? Ming Xiu kissed Lu Mu Yan's ear and whispered, I'm a grade 7 array master. He didn't want to hide anything from Lu Mu Yan. He liked her, so he would never be vague when he should be frank with her. Lu Mu Yan was startled and sighed that this guy's talent was truly heaven-defying. But towards the fact that he didn't conceal it from her, she still felt rather comfortable about it. Your cultivation base isn't only middle phase sword sovereign that everyone sees, right? Lu Mu Yan leaned against him and continued to ask. I used a secret skill to hide my cultivation base. I'm actually a sword saint. Ming Xiu replied with a chuckle. Did the fact that Lu Mu Yan asked these questions mean that she had begun to sincerely accept him? One meaning a filthy mouth, dogs, can't utter decent words, spit out ivory. 2 it technically translates to female Tyrannosaurus, but did dinosaurs even exist then? Haha, but the words, Tyrannosaurus, can be separated into violent and dragon, so I decided to go with Tyrant Dragon XD. 3 this is just politeness by adding, gui, before certain words. In this case, honorable sect. This can also be used to speak of countries, like. Not often used in everyday conversations though, and more formal. A more common usage might be meaning your honorable surname, and you would often reply with your name. It's still rather formal and courteous, and there are other ways to ask for a person's name. Chapter 356, Secret Talk. Hearing that Ming Xiu's cultivation base had already reached Sword Saint, Lu Mu Yan revealed a rare expression of surprise. Your cultivation speed is so heaven-defying. Ming Xiu chuckled, it's all right. Lu Mu Yan rolled her eyes. Others secretly called her little abnormal monster, but in fact, Ming Xiu was a big abnormal monster. Actually, when we met before, my cultivation base was sealed with a secret skill, so you don't have to curse me in your heart. Ming Xiu took Lu Mu Yan's hand, walked to the chair and sat down, holding her on his lap. Lu Mu Yan's brows and eyes curled with her smile. She raised her eyes and asked, how did you know that I'm cursing you for being an abnormal monster inwardly? A guess. The way this woman rolled her eyes just now was so cute. By the way, you said before that you'd tell me a secret when we met again. Is it convenient to say it now? Lu Mu Yan knew that although Ming Xiu had sealed his own cultivation base, but his speed of cultivation definitely wouldn't be slower than hers. She was now more interested in the secret he had spoken of. In addition to sword cultivators on this interface, there are also the devil race, sea race, and demon race. The predecessors of the devil race are actually human sword masters, but the interface they are on is relatively special, so they entered by cultivating the path of the ghost and path of the devil. But after some interfaces are corroded by the true evil force and the dark evil force, resources such as spiritual items would gradually decrease, so they would invade and occupy other interfaces to snatch their cultivation resources. Ming Zu's voice flowed out, very melodious. Lu Mu Yan furrowed her brows slightly. You mean that our interface is a target for the devil race from another interface? Yes. According to the information I collected over the past few years, the devil race may invade our interface and plunder resources. Ming Xiu nodded. Then it has something to do with the Heavenly Secret Palace and the 8 Extreme Sect? Lu Mu Yan didn't forget Ming Xiu's hint in the cultivation space. The place where the Heavenly Secret Palace and the 8 Extreme Sect were built on both have an evil pit, but they were all suppressed and sealed by an array. But I suspect that there are devil race spies in the superiors of the 6 major sects, but they're hidden very deeply. Ming Xiu said solemnly. So that's the case. The founders of the Heavenly Secret Palace and the 8 Extreme Sect sure are bold. Aren't they afraid that the dark evil force that overflows from the evil pit will corrode the pupils of the sect? Lu Mu Yan narrowed her eyes. No wonder the devil cultivator and her pendant wanted her to go to the 8 Extreme Sect. So he wanted to use the evil pit to cultivate. Both sects have the strongest array masters on this continent. After the joint seal, the dark evil force won't overflow, and its benefits outweigh the dangers, so they naturally will choose the benefits. Although the evil pit is dangerous, but the resources nearby are bound to be extremely rich. It's understandable for the two sects to occupy it and establish a sect. Moreover, sealing the evil pit in the sect can also prevent devil cultivators on this interface from expanding their power and improving their cultivation. Ming Xiu explained. Isn't there a legendary true evil land under the cliff of the falling ghost river? Then why aren't the 6 major sects sealing that? Lu Mu Yen asked in confusion. Ming Xiu placed his head on her shoulder and inhaled the delicate fragrance on her. The location is very mysterious. There will often be a dark evil vortex, then a space rift will appear. The experts of the 6 major sects also tried to seal it, but they didn't know where to begin, and also lost many experts, so they could only give up after that. With the experts of the 6 major sects being unable to enter and seal it, the devil cultivators and ghost cultivators naturally couldn't go too deep either and use its power to cultivate, so the 6 major sects just kept their pupils stationed on the periphery and gave up the idea of sealing it. With dark evil vortexes and space rifts appearing, then the bottom of the cliff with true evil may be the spatial weak point of this interface. Lu Mu Yan's brows knitted deeper. If this interface was really invaded by the devil race, then it could be troublesome. She had to speed up the growth of the Lu clan. At the very least, they must have the ability to protect themselves. Surprise flashed across Ming Xiu's deep black eyes. His woman's insights and intelligence really shouldn't be underestimated. Yes. So if the devil race wants to invade our interface, then the cliff is likely to be the place where the interface's barriers are broken. There's nothing you can do to stop it? Lu Mu Yen asked, turning her head sideways. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Ming Xiu kissed her cheek. None. I've been to that place. There are dark evil vortexes and space rifts everywhere, and there's even space turbulence. It can't be penetrated at all. But even if the devil race really wanted to invade, it would cost a lot. If they can enter this interface through that place, then we can only fight. True. We should just better guard against the future. Lu Mu Yen thought, then asked, are you afraid that the 2 evil pits of the Heavenly Secret Palace and the 8 Extremes sect are also weak points of space, so you entered the sect to investigate? And investigate the hidden spies of the devil race at the same time. Ming Xiu continued, 1,000 years ago, the devil race invaded this interface, but they were finally expelled by the powerhouses of this continent at a heavy price, but it also left a lot of devil cultivators here to lurk. Do the superiors of the 6 major sects know about these things? Lu Mu Yen asked. They definitely know that the devil race wants to invade Tianling continent. Sealing the 2 evil pits is also to prevent the devil race exploiting the loopholes. We only need to act according to opportunity. When the sky falls, there are still those high-level powerhouses to hold it up. Ming Xiu said. Lu Mu Yen nodded. With her current cultivation base and strength, she indeed couldn't intervene in the affairs of the devil race. They would just confront soldiers with generals and stem water with earth. Do I need to do anything in the 8 Extreme sect? You don't have to do anything. Just pay attention to whether there are any suspicious devil race people or not, but don't act rashly either. Pass the news to me and they'll handle it. Ming Xiu wouldn't be able to bear the woman he liked to take risks. Sure. Lu Mu Yen didn't want to deeply inquire about Ming Xiu's identity. She knew that there must be a reason for him to be so concerned about the devil race. Ming Xiu hugged Lu Mu Yen tightly, then said after a while, mercenaries and wandering cultivators are disappearing at the Falling Ghost River recently. Be careful when doing missions and pay attention to safety. Then he placed a golden crystal in her hand. If we act separately, if you're in danger, crush this crystal and it'll arrive immediately. All right. Lu Mu Yen held the crystal, which still contained Ming Xiu's warmth. In order to investigate the disappearances of the pupils of the 6 major sects, the pupils of the several sects would eventually have to split up to find clues. Yen, aren't you curious about my true identity? Ming Xiu asked in a low, sexy voice. The corner of Lu Mu Yan's lips twitched, what the hell was yen? But it appeared that it was actually the first time someone called her yen. Only I can call you yen in the future. Ming Xiu naturally didn't miss Lu Mu Yan's expression, and he said domineeringly with a chuckle. As you like. Lu Mu Yan looked at Ming Xiu with amusement. Hearing him call her like this, she didn't feel a sense of disagreement. Instead, because his sexy voice, that called out her name, was filled with penetrating emotional power, it made her heart tingle, unable to resist. You haven't answered my question yet. Ming Xiu's slender fingers wrapped around a strand of Lu Mu Yan's black hair to play with. I'm very curious, but I don't want to know right now. I guess you'll uncover it slowly. Lu Mu Yan raised her eyes and looked at Ming Xiu seriously. It was boring to know right now. Wasn't it more interesting to learn it little by little herself? As expected of the woman I like. Ming Xiu laughed happily. Lu Mu Yan was like a secret classic that attracted him to read it page by page. Each page opened would make him fall in love with her even more. He didn't want to turn to the last page to see the finale. So he also hoped that he would become Lu Mu Yan's secret classic, letting her read page by page to understand him. This was their way of penetrating each other's hearts. They were actually the same kind of people. Chapter 357, Sudden Change at Falling Ghost River. Early the next morning, Ming Xiu left Falling Ghost Town with the pupils of the 6 major sects and rushed towards Falling Ghost River. Along the way, aside from them, many mercenaries and wandering cultivators came out from the deep mountains in various directions near the Falling Ghost River. Why are you all still rushing to the Falling Ghost River? It's been very weird recently, don't you all know? A wandering cultivator saw that their group was rushing towards the Falling Ghost River and couldn't help but caution them. Ming Xiu smiled lightly and asked, May I ask, cultivator friend, what kind of weird things are happening in the Falling Ghost River? The water of the Falling Ghost River has recently turned black, and there are often mercenaries and wandering cultivators shrieking in the forested mountains. When others arrive, all they see are dried corpses, and their blood essence had long been sucked dry. The wandering cultivator sighed. In the past, although there were dangers lurking everywhere in Falling Ghost River, but the attacks came mainly from demonic beasts. Now it's very strange. The number of mercenaries and wandering cultivators inexplicably dying are continuing to increase, and people are panicking. Most of them came out of the deep forest to prepare to leave. So that's how it is. Were pupils sent by the 6 major sects to investigate this matter? I wonder if cultivator friend has any other news? Ming Xiu continued to ask. They were all wearing the unique uniforms of the 6 major sects, so one could see even without introducing themselves. There was nothing to avoid. The man thought a bit, then said, I heard someone say that every night there'll be a desolate flute sound from the deep forest, then many mercenaries or wandering cultivators will spontaneously rush in the direction of the flute sound, but they never return. There's nothing else. After all, I haven't seen it with my own eyes. Good luck to you all. Thank you, cultivator friend, for your caution. Ming Xiu said politely. The wandering cultivator glanced at them with some pity, then left quickly. Brother Qi, do you think what he just said is true? The leader of the sword sect appeared solemn. If it's as what he said, many mercenaries and wandering cultivators all became dried corpses, but the soul tablets of the disappeared pupils of our 6 major sects hasn't yet broken, indicating that they're still alive. What he said should be true. As for why the pupils of the 6 major sects are still alive, that's what we need to figure out. Ming Xiu said lightly. The others had their own thoughts, but their expressions weren't as relaxed as when they had just arrived. 2 days later, when they arrived at the Falling Ghost River, most of the pupils revealed dumbfounded expressions. What entered their eyes was a wide and turbulent river in front of them that was no longer clear water, but was so dark that the bottom of the river couldn't be seen at all. From time to time, fish leapt out of the water, but their color was also dyed black. There was a layer of mist-like black air floating above the Falling Ghost River. Not only was there no disgusting odor or blood, but it even exuded a faint sweet fragrance. What's this? A pupil who had once come to the Falling Ghost River exclaimed. When he came before, the water of the Falling Ghost River was crystal clear, and the fish were all normal colors. Apart from the quick flash of pleasant surprise in Lu Muyan's eyes, many others were slightly frightened, and their expressions changed over and over again. Ming Xiu furrowed his dashing brows. He didn't know why the Falling Ghost River turned black, but he felt that it wasn't that simple, and the black aura that spread from the river wasn't dark evil force. You know what that black water is? Mo Yen stood on Lu Muyan's shoulder and looked at the Falling Ghost River with a light gaze, but his heart wasn't so calm. No matter how knowledgeable he was, even he couldn't understand why the changes in this river formed. After he signed the natal contract with Lu Muyan, there was a tacit understanding between them, so he could feel an inexplicable excitement that she was restraining. Something good is about to be born. No wonder there are devil cultivators causing trouble. Lu Muyan's expression was calm, but there was a bit of joy in her voice transmission. Something good? Mo Yen asked in surprise. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, Lu Muyan said with a smile. The materials for my water element natal magic tool is right here. You mean the black water here is changing because it's a prelude to the birth of a spiritual item? Mo Yen asked in realization. Yes. But I believe there are very few people who know about it. Lu Muyan rubbed her chin, but the people of the devil race who remained on this continent might know something, so they appeared near Falling Ghost River. If she hadn't wandered around the devil interface in search of a special kind of spiritual herb once, she would never have known of that spiritual item that was very attractive to the devil race. She believed that the sword masters on Tianling continent didn't know about that thing. Otherwise they wouldn't be expressing horror after seeing the changes in Falling Ghost River, but ecstasy. What kind of spiritual item is it? Mo Yen was also very curious. A kind of heaven-rank spiritual item called the obsidian fluorite condensed from evil force and water essence. If a devil cultivator obtains it, it could help them successfully perfect their devil methods. If we obtain it, we can refine a water attribute natal magic tool, and can even comprehend the water element because of it. Its level is not at all lower than the heavenly frost golden essence I obtained before. The spiritual items in this world were divided into mortal rank, earth rank, heaven rank and divine rank. There were very few spiritual items above earth rank, and were exceptionally rare, not found even in thousands of years. I'm afraid it's not easy for you to steal food from the devil race's mouth. Mo Yan's eyes were filled with a slight smile and his tone was filled with gloating. Lu Muyan rolled her eyes at him. When those devil race appears, it'll be time for you to appear. The corner of Mo Yan's mouth twitched. This woman sure ordered him around with ease. Yan, do you know anything? Ming Xiu's voice sounded in Lu Muyan's sea of consciousness. Ming Xiu, the change in the Falling Ghost River isn't a bad thing but a good thing. Lu Muyan explained to Ming Xiu what she said to Mo Yen. Since she decided to like this man, then she would be sincere. Although Ming Xiu was surprised, but he believed Lu Muyan's words and his lips curled up. Then isn't the obsidian fluorite here an easy gain for us? Lu Muyan just liked the domineering arrogance of Ming Xiu, as if looking down upon the world. Her eyes narrowed as she smiled. Of course. This is a land without owners. What those devil cultivators are snatching, we can naturally snatch it too. The two exchanged a tacit glance. Lu Muyan used her mental energy to carefully investigate the situation in Falling Ghost River and estimated a time. Brother Qi, what do we do now? The leader of the medicine sect asked cautiously. Ming Xiu took his gaze off the Falling Ghost River and asked with a light smile, do any of you have any suggestions? There are deep mountains on all sides of the Falling Ghost River, and the one in the middle is the dark evil cliff. We can't go there. If the other three are like what the wandering cultivator said before, then the pupils who disappeared from our 6 major sects are very likely to be captured and hidden. Why don't we look for it separately for a bit? The leading pupil of the sword sect thought for a bit, then suggested. The leading pupil of the spirit tamers sect nodded in approval. This is a good idea. After all, gathering together to find it isn't only a waste of time, but we're a large target too. Although the pupils of the other sects didn't speak, but they also revealed approval. All right. Then we'll act separately. Everyone has a distress signal from the 6 major sects. If you encounter any danger or any special circumstances, immediately send a signal. Ming Xiu said lightly. All right. The pupils of the several major sects discussed again before leaving. Gu Xiu also flew towards the deep mountain on the far left with Lu Muyan and the others. Chapter 358, Prodigal Spirit Pets. The pupils of the Sword Sect entered the deep mountain on the left with Lu Muyan and the others, but after entering and addressing each other, they separated. When Gu Xiu took Lu Muyan and the others into a dense forest, their speed gradually decreases. This mountain is too quiet. Everyone be careful. Gu Xiu held the long sword in his hand and said cautiously to everyone. The other people also appeared solemn, and not only activated an elemental energy shield, but also held magic tools in their hands, highly concentrated. Lu Muyan's eyes were indifferent, and she didn't activate the elemental energy shield. Her current mental energy had already reached the level of a sword saint, so any disturbances could be reflected to her immediately. Although it was quiet here, but there wasn't much danger. Junior sister Lu, don't be too careless. Yukong furrowed his brows when he saw Lu Muyan's carefree look. He really didn't know what the sect leader was thinking to actually ask Lu Muyan to follow them to complete the mission. Wasn't this the classic dragging them back? Although Lu Jia was also a core pupil of the outer sect, but his talent was incredible, plus he was already a grade 4 array master. Lu Muyan couldn't be compared with him at all. The other people also revealed some helplessness in their eyes. Did they have to protect Lu Muyan too? Jean Sei furrowed her willow brows. Yukong, since the sect leader asked Lu girl to follow, he naturally has his reasons. What does your gaze mean? She was a person who distinguished between like and hate, and she definitely would either curse or wildly beat those she didn't like. I don't mean anything by it. I just hope that junior sister Lu can protect herself when she's in danger. Yukong said without an expression. Lu Muyan chuckled. I don't need the several senior brothers to worry about my safety. You can all just take care of yourselves. If you don't like me, then I'll do it alone. She had a faint smile on her face, but there was no warmth in her eyes. Could it be that she had the words "I'll drag you down" written on her face? Yukong didn't expect Lu Muyan to talk back, and he was even more displeased. He snorted coldly. That's what you said. I did say that. Lu Muyan nodded. I'm responsible for my own life and death. Even if I really died, I don't need anyone to go explain anything to the sect leader. Gu Xiu glanced at Yukong and motioned for him to stop talking. When Lu Muyan exploded, it wasn't that much weaker than Jean Sei, that demoness. When that time really came and she was really angered, then she'd definitely turn around and leave. How could he explain to the sect leader when that happens? Alright, let's first observe whether there are ambushes around. Yukong turned his head and took a deep breath. It was the first time he was confronted like this by an outer pupil. Although he felt extremely uncomfortable, but it wasn't good to go against Gu Xiu. After all, although this person didn't look like it, but he was in the top 10 on the strength rankings. Lu Muyan pouted her lips, bored, and spread her mental energy to check the distance. Mo Yen, can you use your demonic sense to sweep thousands of li away? Lu Muyan said telepathically. Mo Yen rolled his eyes at her. This woman could also use her own mental energy to investigate 1,000 li away, but she becomes lazy each time. He sighed helplessly. All right. He discovered that the wise and mighty him was no longer that majestic demon king that he used to be. Not only did he completely land in this woman's demonic claws, but he was also willing and resolute. The last ray of sunshine disappeared, and night gradually fell. The surroundings were still eerily quiet. There's a cave in front of us, let's go rest for the night. Gu Xiu knew that the night in the deep mountains was very dangerous, so he suggested. All right. After entering the cave, everyone found a place. Jean Sei sat down beside Lu Muyan while the others were on the other side. Lu Mu Yen preferred to enjoy life, so she carried a tea set anytime, anywhere. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. She took out the spiritual tea and the century-old royal jelly, then began to brew it. After a while, the fragrance of tea overflowed in the whole cave, and it grew misty. Senior sister, try the honey tea I brewed. Lu Mu Yen only brewed 2 cups and handed one to Jean Sei. Jean S's eyes lit up, took a sip from the cup, and her enchanting face was filled with smiles. Junior sister, your high-quality spiritual tea paired with century-old royal jelly is sweet and mellow. It's the best tea I've ever had. Gu Xiao and the others looked at each other helplessly. They were completely ignored by these 2 women. Drinking royal jelly every day can improve your appearance and beauty. Senior sister can bring some back to drink in the sect. With a thought, a bottle of royal jelly landed in her hand, and she handed it to Jean Sei. Along the way, Jean Sc's defense of her all landed in her eyes. This person's and her own temperament were quite similar in some respects, especially the distinction between love and hate. Jean Sei was stunned for a while but didn't take it immediately as she said with a smile, no need. The main ingredient for junior sister to refine the beauty-enhancing pill is this Scarlet Bee royal jelly. You should keep it for when you're refining pills. Senior sister, just accept it. I still have a lot. Lu Mu Yen shoved the bottle to Jean Sei with a smile. Jean Sei no longer refused, then thank you, junior sister. Smelling the fragrant spiritual tea, Gu Xiao and the others felt thirsty, but they were slightly embarrassed to ask Lu Mu Yen for it. Miao Miao and Qi Huang usually also loved honey tea very much. As soon as they smelt the fragrance, they came out and each spirit pet drank a cup. Qi Huang then rubbed against Lu Mu Yan's wrist again to please her. The corner of Lu Mu Yan's lips twitched. This little thing only just finished the honey tea and was hungry again. Did you have to eat so well? But with no choice, she took out a bottle of grade 3 elemental nourishing pill and placed it in her hand. Qi Huang happily flapped its wings, grabbed a pill, and began to nibble at it. Seeing this, Miao Miao also came over and said in a sweet, tender voice, "Owner, I'm hungry too." Lu Mu Yen smiled speechlessly, poured out all the 7 or 8 pills in the bottle, and Miao Miao swallowed them in one breath. After completely devouring the pill, Qi Huang continued to ask for pills. Lu Mu Yen took out another bottle and stuffed a pill to it. These spirit pets became more and more able to eat and were even more prodigal than her. Meanwhile, her seemingly inadvertent actions frightened and stunned everyone in the cave. Junior sister, is that the grade 3 elemental nourishing pill in your hands? Gu Xiao couldn't resist asking. Yeah. Lu Mu Yen nodded and continued to feed. Hearing her answer, the several people were in chaos as if in a storm. Junior sister Lu, do you usually feed your spirit pets like this? Xiao Yi pressed his lips and asked. Grade 3 elemental nourishing pills were known to the sword masters of the entire Tianling continent because they were sold by a pill shop supported by the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance, and they were crazily contended for. The last time he returned to his palace, he had received 2 pills. After taking them, its effect was really good, not only able to nourish one's elemental energy and consolidate one's origins, but it could also improve one's cultivation base. It was just a pity that although the pill shop regularly sold grade 3 pills like this elemental nourishing pill, but it was limited. If one wanted to buy it, they even needed to pre-order. Most importantly, one might not even be able to buy it with money. But what did he see now? A pill costing 20,000 spiritual stones each sold in limited quantities was actually used by Lu Mu Yen to feed her spirit pets. The Scarlet Bee honey that couldn't be bought even with money was used by her to make tea. Did she know the value of these things or not? They don't like to eat the pills received from the sect's resources. Lu Mu Yen nodded with a bit of pampering in her eyes. These were her life and death partners, so she naturally wouldn't be stingy. The corners of the several people's mouths twitched. What did it mean that they didn't like to eat the pills received from the sect? Those were also grade 3 pills. They finally knew why Lu Mu Yen asked questions about contribution point and spiritual stone rewards after the sect leader ordered the mission. This woman was simply a complete prodigal lady. It was the first time they saw someone's spirit pets being treated with such privileges. At this time, they had to admit that even they weren't living as well as Lu Muyan's spirit pets. Lu Muyan naturally knew what these people were rethinking, but as an alchemist, how could she be willing to treat her spirit pet unfairly? If they liked to eat pills, then they could eat it. It wasn't like she could afford it. Junior sister Lu, do you know how many spiritual stones elemental nourishing pills cost? Xiao Yi thought about it and asked. Lu Muyan looked up at him inexplicably. I know. You use pills that cost 20,000 spiritual stones each to feed your spirit pets, and you feed so much at a time. Don't you feel distressed by it? Gu Xiu couldn't help but interject. Although he had advanced to Sword Venerable, but it was impossible for him to feed spirit pets like Lu Muyan did using grade 3 pills as if they're candy. Not distressed. If these people knew that it wasn't only grade 3 pills, but even grade 4 pills she often fed to her spirit pets, she didn't know how distressed they'd be. Are you short of spiritual stones? Peng Yang, who was silent all the way, suddenly asked. Lu Muyan smiled lightly and said, I am. The batch of spiritual herbs she purchased before were already refined into pills. After returning, she needed to buy another huge batch. She lowered her eyes and looked at the ice bangle on her. This bangle had the effect of stimulating the growth of spiritual herbs, but unfortunately, was linked to cultivation base. With her current cultivation base, it would take a year or two to raise all the spiritual herb saplings or seeds to grow. Of course, the ability to ripen the spiritual herb saplings into century-old mature spiritual herbs in only 1 or 2 years represented that the ice bangle was already amazing. She suspected that this was a divine tool, or maybe even a divine treasure. She had planted a few herb gardens in her courtyard, which would become a great fortune when harvested. If junior sister Lu is short on spiritual stones, why don't you sell me some elemental nourishing pills? How about I offer 30,000 spiritual stones for one? Peng Yang said with a smile. The pill shop that cooperated with the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance sold it at 20,000 spiritual stones, but the price had more than doubled in the black market and it may even be impossible to obtain. His clan was not only the #1 clan of a superpower kingdom, but also owned a mineral vein. He didn't lack spiritual stones, but if he was able to take elemental nourishing pills long-term, then it would be great help to him. Before, his clan relied on connections to go to the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance to make reservations and only snatched 6, and only 2 fell into his hands. He never imagined that the pills they snatched and contended for to buy would be used by Lu Muyan to feed her spirit pets. He, who had been deeply attacked mentally, could only offer her a deal, hoping that she would give him some face. At Sword Venerable Cultivation Base, one ordinary grade 3 pill's efficacy wasn't too obvious, but the elemental nourishing pill was different. While nourishing one's elemental energy and consolidate one's origins, it could even compress elemental energy to make it become purer. Such pills were still very desirable even at their level. Lu Muyan thought about it, then nodded, all right. I'll sell you 5. Although these people always felt that she would drag them back, and even had a cold attitude towards her, but when they were in the dense forest before, they, including Yukong, would constantly pay attention to her surroundings. If anything happened, they would save her right away. She didn't know why they would do this even after she promised that they didn't need to explain anything if something happened to her, but it also proved that the several people weren't bad. This also changed her view of the several people. As expected, most of the pupils of the 8 Extremes sect were relatively united as in the rumors, and it was alright to fight a little inside, but at critical moments, the hearts of the people could truly be seen. High-level powerhouses had their own pride, and maybe the fact that the sect leader placed her on the same level as them made them feel unfair. After all, she had never shown her true strength. Thinking of this, she was a little speechless. She had observed the pupils from various other sects before in the inn, and in the end, found that her cultivation base was still at the bottom. Great. Junior sister is really straightforward. A sincere smile appeared on Peng Yan's face. Although this junior sister could drag them back, but her personality wasn't unpleasant. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Seeing that Peng Yan's transaction with Lu Mu Yan was successful, everyone except Yukong also offered her kindness and wanted to buy. She didn't favor one over the other and sold it to them all. Yukong secretly regretted that he was too impulsive during the day. Now he clearly wanted it, but he couldn't open his mouth. Gu Xiu saw Yukong's flickering eyes, thought for a bit, then said to Lu Mu Yan, junior sister, can you sell a few pills to you senior brother you? They were going to work together in the mission, and he also hoped that the entire party would be united and there would be no more disagreements and disputes, so he wanted to use this to ease the awkwardness between the two that occurred during the day. Yukong didn't expect Gu Xiu to speak for him, so he also borrowed this ladder to step down. I indeed want to buy a few. I wonder if junior sister Lu still has any? Sure. Lu Mu Yan tossed a bottle containing 3 pills to him. If it weren't that this person talked bad about her, but subconsciously protected her with his actions, she would be too lazy to repair her relationship with him. I'm sorry about what occurred in the day. Yukong took the pill and still felt a little uncomfortable. Remembering what occurred during the day, he felt that he was a little too stingy compared to Lu Mu Yan, so he cupped his fists and said, I've forgotten about what happened in the day. Lu Mu Yan smiled. Lu Jia also bought 5 pills of elemental energy pills from Lu Mu Yan. He pressed his lips together and put away the pills, and was no longer so indifferent towards her. Lu Mu Yan was able to take out so many pills to feed her spirit pet and sell it to them, indicating that these pills were definitely refined by herself, otherwise how could she have squandered such a large amount of rare grade 3 pills? At this time, they all thought inwardly that, in fact, although this junior sister's cultivation base wasn't that good, but her talent in alchemy was very strong, and wasn't entirely useless. It was just a pity that she would actually go to the talisman school to cultivate. She really was unpredictable. Early the next morning, they hurried along a path towards an eerie situation-prone area on the map. During the day, the deep mountains and forests were quiet again, until evening, when the sun was about to set, a desolate and sad sound suddenly reverberated in the air. The several people froze, activated their elemental energy shields, and prepared for battle as they made their way towards the sound of the flute. Gradually, the sound of the flute became gentle and desolate, and pity was aroused unconsciously in the several people, and their eyes gradually became a little lax. Lu Mu Yan narrowed her eyes, and with a flip of her hand, an emerald green flute appeared. She placed it to her mouth and blew a tune. Cheerful and smooth notes leapt out from the flute, instantly breaking the peace. The several people who were indulging in the sound of the flute also regained their clarity, and there was a lingering fear in their hearts. The desolate flute sound just now actually had the effect of bewitching their mind. Although they hadn't completely indulged in the flute sound, but if they were exposed to the enemy's sight in such a state, then it would be extremely dangerous. Hearing Lu Mu Yan's melodious flute tune, breaking the flute sound with a circle of invisible power, a strange feeling emerged in the several people's hearts. They never thought that Lu Mu Yan, who had the lowest cultivation base, would not only know sonic wave methods, but also pulled them out of the desolate sound's influence. Their hearts were mixed with flavors and didn't feel good, but gratitude was also real. Because time was short, and the situation was so critical that they couldn't express their gratitude, the figures of the several people quickly disappeared into the dense forest along with Lu Mu Yan's flute, and they arrived near the desolate sound in a short while. Yet who knew that they would see a man in black holding a flute on the big tree ahead of them, and the surrounding dense forest was suddenly covered by a black light curtain, and they were completely covered in it. We've fallen into an array arranged by the other party. Lu Jia said with an ugly expression. Chapter 360, deliberately provoke. The area covered by the array was very wide, and it seemed that it had been arranged for a long time. As long as one stepped into this territory, it would be activated automatically. The man in black standing on the big tree turned around and faced Lu Mu Yan and the others with an eerie smile on his slightly pale face. I didn't expect a few big fish to come this time. The uniform of the 6 major sects had always been very conspicuous. After so many years of open and secret fighting, he knew at a glance that these pupils were from the 8 extreme sect. As soon as his voice fell, a man and a woman also loomed from 2 other big trees. The middle-aged man who just appeared looked at Lu Mu Yen and Jin Se in the large array and licked his dry lips, chuckling harshly. Kiki, I didn't expect there would be 2 such beautiful women this time sending themselves to my door to become my cauldrons. Wonderful. Huh, the woman who just appeared was dressed in a thin black gauze dress. The waves on her upper body were looming, her bright red lips pursed, and she looked at the several people like she was looking at some goods. The men this time sure are average. I want the one who looks wild and handsome, the others look like white-cut chicken one. Hearing the woman's words, their expressions, including Xiao Yes, who was mentioned, turned dark. Aside from Gu Xiao, who appeared a little more ordinary, the others were all rather handsome, and although they were indeed inferior to Xiao Yi in terms of stature, but they definitely weren't white-cut chicken like the woman made them out to be. Either way, they were being disliked. Can this array be broken? Gu Xiao looked at the opponent's cultivation base and his heart sank. The 3 of them were all sword venerable cultivation bases, and the leader holding the flute was even an advanced phase sword venerable. It was truly tricky. Lu Jia took out an array compass and inspected around, his face changing over and over again. This is a grade 4 array. I just advanced to a grade 4 array master, and I don't have a deep grasp of some essentials, so it'll take at least 10 days to break this array. What if we attacked forcefully? Yukong asked. Attacking forcefully also needs a weak point to be found first, but the weak point of this array has been covered up. I haven't found it yet. Lu Jia sighed. At this time, the expressions of the several people weren't good. They couldn't wait 10 days at all. If they couldn't break this array, they may be finished by the 3 devil cultivators opposite today. Release the distress signal. Jin Se said. Lu Jia shook his head and said, this array has a restriction that seals all transmissions, so the distress signal can't be released. Jin Se and the others were stunned, then a look of anxiety rose on their faces. Try it, if it doesn't work, well, think of other ways. The several people watched anxiously as Gu Xiao took out the fireworks used to seek for help and lit it. A small colorful ball leapt into the sky above, but it couldn't break through the black light shrouded around them from the array. It really failed. Gu Xiao furrowed his brows. The several people kept thinking of ways, and even took out magic tools to attack the array, but it was all useless. Lu Mu Yen didn't join their attack, but instead, took out her array compass to investigate around. The several people didn't stop her when they saw it, but they didn't have any hope. They heard that Lu Mu Yen was a grade 3 array master, but Lu Jia, a grade 4 array master, couldn't even break the array, so how could she break it? Kiki, you don't have to do this in vain. Our boss spent a lot of effort to set up this grade 4 array. An advanced phase sword venerable who came before was even trapped to death in this array, let alone you all. The middle-aged man laughed a few times. Why are you talking so much nonsense with them? The unattractive woman glanced at Lu Mu Yen and Jin Se with disgust on her face. You want to bring those 2 women back to be a cauldron? I sure think it's a better choice to slice up their face, suck their essence, and toss them down the mountain to feed the wolves. She hated beautiful women the most in her life, and the 2 people who were trapped in the array could no longer be described as beautiful, but definitely absolute beauties that could cause the downfall of a kingdom, which was intolerable. The middle-aged man's expression changed and said, they're my first-class cauldrons, don't have any ideas about them. Go take that man back to enjoy first. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. The woman's face sank, then smiled enchantingly. That's fine too. It won't be much better even in your hands anyway. She had seen how this person tortured female cultivator cauldrons, and their looks of preferring death over life was quite comforting. The unconcealed words of the 2 made Jin Se utterly angry, but at this time, she could do nothing, and the despair in her heart slowly rose. Was she really going to be captured by the other party and be used as a cauldron? No. She'd rather die in that case. You look so ugly and still dare to come out and covet handsome men. I think the two of you should be a dog couple instead. Lu Mu Yen inserted a few Taoist seals into the array that enveloped them when the others weren't paying attention, then looked up at the man and the woman, speaking slowly. No one expected Lu Mu Yen to speak so suddenly. Gu Xiao and the others looked at her with disapproval. Provoking the other party at this time, did she really want to be captured to be used as a cauldron? Who are you calling ugly? The woman's expression was a little distorted. It was the first time she heard someone say she was ugly. What she cared about the most in her life was this face. Lu Mu Yen chuckled, "Of course I'm talking about you. Look at you, your eyebrows are drawn so dense and thick, your eyes are hanging, your nose is short and stump, your mouth is so red with lipstick, and when you appeared just now, I thought you were some monster that crawled out of some grave. As the saying, the appearance comes from the heart. Since you look so ugly, your heart must be more vicious than snakes and scorpions. Of course, it's not your fault you look like this, but since you even covet my senior brother's beauty, then you're not right. When he sees such an honorable appearance, he would probably even vomit out the food he ate yesterday. Let alone my senior brother, even when I see your ghostly appearance, I'm starting to feel sick now." Lu Mu Yen appeared disgusted. This woman had such a vicious mind, wanting to scratch her and Jean Sc's face, cripple their cultivation base, then feed them to the wolves, so of course she had to step on her sore spot and verbally attack her. "Junior sister, you've really discovered the truth. It's the first time I've seen such an ugly woman too." Jean Se pursed her lips and covered her mouth with a disgusted look. "I feel like throwing up right now. What did it matter about this ugly and old woman? So what if they cursed her? The worst was just death." "You both," the woman shrieked, her face grim, "I'm going to kill you all." Immediately, she pulled out a long sword and faced the direction of Lu Mu Yen and Jean Se, ready to slash with all her strength, but was stopped by the middle-aged man. "They're my cauldrons, don't go too far. Today I must let them unable to live nor die even as they beg for it. Get out of my way or I'll kill you together." After the woman was stepped on her sore spot by Lu Mu Yen, she just wanted to slash the two to pieces. It was the first time that the middle-aged man had met such pure and beautiful cauldrons. The moment he saw the two, he knew they were virgins. He didn't want his planned cauldrons to be ruined by this ugly woman. So the two fought outside the array. The young man holding the flute didn't stop them, but just cast a cold look at Lu Mu Yen. At this time, Gu Xiao and the others also realized. Lu Mu Yen deliberately angered the woman, making her want to kill them, but the middle-aged man had already classified them as his own cauldrons, so the two would definitely fight for them. Who knew that she would come up with such a solution at this juncture of crisis? They really underestimated her before. Lu Mu Yen used her peripheral vision to sweep a corner of the array where a black light was gradually weakening and hooked her lips. This was just the beginning. 1 LMAO, white cut chicken aka sliced cold chicken is often used to describe men, usually meaning they're not manly enough, has white, fair skin, which ironically is a beauty standard even for men these days, lol, no muscles, very thin and looks very fragile. Just like a white-cut chicken that's white and tender. Often used to taunt men who look feminine and weak. Do not use this in everyday conversations, hahaha. Random note, of course the casual lookism here. And why does it always have to be about beauty for evil women, lol. But good burns. XD that you're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.